Welcome back, everybody. Very glad to have you here in the beautiful San Antonio, Texas, as we kick off some Valorant on the NECC side. I'm very happy to welcome a good friend of mine, Zoe, here to the booth as we follow along with the NECC action. Obviously, we talk about Division 1 and the ability to play at this national stage. It's got to be a great opportunity for both of these teams as we'll be featuring NC State taking on Baker here.
Absolutely, and it is a year-long effort, right? They earned those national points across the fall and spring semester to showcase that this is all what it has added up to.
That's right, and of course we're looking to really get to know these teams as well as they start to develop and play a little bit further on here. As we welcome a whole lot of different individuals here too. We've also seen some high schoolers come in and take the stage here too. We got a couple more days of it. How's your experience been so far?
Oh, it's been great. We have Aurora Series coming up later today. I've been talking with those teams a lot, getting everything fleshed out for their game. I'm hyped for getting into the Valorant action. It's
gonna be awesome for sure, and of course brought to you by the Army National Guard. So find your calling at nationalguard.com. That's nationalguard.com. Very excited to have them. So we actually have walkouts ready for you. We'll get to see the teams in just a minute, so we'll get to that here momentarily, of course. I'm from the Carolinas, so I got a little bit of piece of me that loves this NC State team. I've got to see them a lot. I'm excited to see them in action. We've, from Red Bull Campus Clutch, for example, they've been all around the scene and really have been making waves.
Absolutely. I feel like they came out of the woodwork last year in CVAL. It was who is this team? What are they capable of? And I think they surprised a lot of people. And then the team they're up against, right, in terms of Baker is an international superpower, right? They've brought talent from all walks of life kind of into an environment that has been drilled by perpetual lands. Last year had great success like the DreamHack Collegiate Invitational, for example, and I think they've definitely built out a respected program.
And one of the reasons they were able to do that as well is Cody Elston. I got to catch up with him a little bit earlier too, formerly of Northwood, and then came over to NC State to be able to run that program. And Cody had some really big things to say about that program, and of course all the students that he took over. He says he's very excited for the future. Despite circumstances surrounding it being a relatively new program and trying to find that support from the school themselves, they've done a really good job to become one of the best teams competitively, not just in Valorant. We're talking Overwatch and Rocket League as well. They've become so relevant over the past couple of years. It's been awesome to watch.
And it's not just school support either, it's state support, right?
Exactly.
Into these esports programs, building out these stadiums. I actually got to be at NC State during CVAL last year because they were our host, right? Talking with their club president who just graduated, a few weeks ago. Clouds, he'll be playing in Aurora later today.
That's fantastic. Well, we got our teams locked and loaded. Here we go, stage side to Lemon Kiwi for the walkouts.
It is time for our first Valorant match of the main stage, so please join me in welcoming our first team. It's North Carolina State. Got some serious competition here. Posture's looking good, jersey's looking good, but their competition is quite scary. So up next for our walkout, it's Baker Swarm. Hey, everyone looks serious. Everyone looks locked in. This team's got a demon on it. We've got amazing talent on both sides. So players, get to your stations and best of luck. You guys can walk off now. Go and load up. There you go. Best of luck, everybody. North Carolina State versus Baker Swarm. Valorant, it's going to be a marathon and not just a sprint. And we also have casters to send you back to. So let's go join Bearlight and Zoe again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Jen. Thank you so much. And of course, you love to see them locked and loaded and being confident as well. Obviously, you want to set the stage here in the group stage as you kick off the tournament very early. To make that splash, really get teams to respect you at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%. You definitely want to be one of those teams that makes it to that Sunday championship, that grand finals, and the work all starts in the group stage. I feel like one of the more competitive seasons we've actually had as teams have committed to NECC specifically, and I think these two teams being the ones that we're looking at, I think are that perfect example.
Yeah, you have a deep pool of talent for sure, and so getting that high ground early is certainly going to be setting the tone here for these teams for sure. So NC State we talked a whole lot about. out. And obviously, with Baker coming in, they've made a big splash recently. I love their program. They've been able to beef it up on the production side, but also here on their Valorant team has been making waves in one of those teams that really has that upside potential. Relatively young team as well. So I'm interested to see how they match up against this NC State team, who has that experience, has a lot of players who have been there for at least a couple of years, if not more. That experience can really play a role, especially in a live environment as big of a stage as this is.
So we have, again, a growing team that's just discovered their form versus Baker. Again, drilled. They look for the best of the best. They secure that talent and then put them on national stages like here in San Antonio.
It's fantastic. I mean, I love this environment too for everybody that's come through and has been a part of this. It's been already a great experience, and we have a couple days as well. Day one's been kicking off. The vibes have been extremely high, and we've gotten to talk to a lot of the teams for media day as well. They had some great answers, by the way. Very much these teams that have that media training and ready to go here too. So love to see those players in action, what they had to say too.
And it's so funny too when like a face pops out of the crowd and is like, Zobi, Barely?
Yeah.
And you're like, you're here at this event, and they're like, yeah, we're competing in this bracket. And you're like, I didn't even know that team was here, right? And it's been a pleasant surprise to see so many familiar and new faces that you only know online.
Yeah, exactly. I got to see UCSD in action for the very first time, but then I got to hang out with UNCW. Obviously, I'm Carolina born as well, so UNCW is one of those teams that I got to know really well from their high school days up into college. Red Dot, for example, was able to take that win 2-0.
That's who I was literally just talking about.
Really?
That pulled
no
me out of the woodwork and was like, Zobia? And I was like, you're here, Red Dot?
Really cool dude, right? Like, just down to earth too, but can be emotional too, which says a lot about that team too. But you have leaders on the NC State team too. Brace has been a dynamic player and very much one to look out for sure. Nathium as well has been those two kind of like a dynamic duo for NC State. That makes it a little bit tougher whenever Baker comes in and realizes what they're up against from a chemistry standpoint.
Yeah, and I know, again, they have a great support system, though, over there at Baker as well. Again, I think one of the coaches I've been acquainted with there, it goes to so many global events as well, and they actually have coached over in the Tier 2 space as well in Europe. So, like, again, lots of ideas that they're going to be drilling into this newer meta.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a quick break as the players go ahead and gear up, and we figure out a quick tech issue, but don't go anywhere. Again, you're watching the NECC Division 1 playoffs. Zoe and Bearlight back with you here as we fix that tech issue. We're good to go here for the next matchup, and we can talk a little bit more about it as we gear up here for this next matchup as Baker faces off with NC State. And, of course, when we talk about these two teams, they've seen each other a lot, especially here in the NECC.
Oh, 100%. Again, we mentioned it, fall, spring, you have to go through both to earn those champions points to get here to the national stage. And they met each other along the way, right? NC State was on this come up, right? We mentioned it, that they've grown as a squad, and it even existed between the fall and the spring, right, in terms of qualifying versus not qualifying?
That's exactly right. You had this situation where NC State, they weren't able to make it in the fall time. So they decided to, get together, and they've been on the up and up ever since, you kind of have that changing of the guard as far as leadership goes. And they really start to make a buzzing here. But Baker did a great job in the fall. In fact, that's how they got their presence here. When we talk about nationals with the NECC, in this Div 1 team, they got all the way to lowers. And this time around, it was NC State in the most recent semester here in the spring. Took it to Amer with a 2-0 victory in uppers. And unfortunately, both teams, they ended shy in that lower side. So that being said, they have history. They know each other pretty well here, especially since that happened in this most recent semester. They know what they're up against. So now it's just a matter of execution, knowing your teams, knowing exactly who you're going up against. And for Baker, they're out for revenge. There's no doubt about it. It was a close series, by the way. It was 2-1. In fact, that last map ended in a 13-10, so I think we're in for a treat here early.
Yeah, it was a Corrode, a Split, and a Pearl as well. So obviously a Split and Pearl still in the map pool. Those are options to have that little rematch on against the same exact opponent. But again, it's like Baker's been at this consistent line trying to break through the top against your Northwoods, your other collegiate powerhouses in NECC, versus NC State was on this like upward trajectory that has now intersected and might be surpassing Baker, which is what we're going to find out today in this round robin Group A matchup between NC State and Baker.
That's right, exactly. And we'll have our maps up here in just a moment, and I'm very excited to be able to see it. We saw a little bit of mix yesterday, by the way. Actually hits the pool too, so we might get a new agent into the equation here. How do you feel about that?
I don't know if I see either of these teams being the one to pick it up, but I do think we'll see it on the main stage before the day is up. That's all I can give you for the teaser for what's going to come later today.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that base quick is actually enormous. To see the players, especially at this level, if you can utilize it right, it's very much a very interesting zoning tool, and the way that you're able to bring that in, throw a curveball potentially to some of the bigger names here that we expect to perform pretty well. So that being said, we're going to obviously, see the teams in action here momentarily. NC State is on that rise, but for how much longer? And of course, it was a super close battle here. But you can actually just let us know, what maps can we expect here as far as the series is concerned?
Ooh, what maps can we expect? You want me to go through the map feedos right now for you?
If you want to, yeah.
All right, let's do it. So what we ended up getting to was the bread and butter of Valorant, right? You get your Haven. We do get our split rematch guaranteed on map 2. And if we make it to that map 3, it's going to be Breeze.
That's right, Breeze back in the place. One of my least favorite ones for sure, 100% about it. But of course, we have to thank everybody who was able to contribute in the first place and make all of this possible in such an incredible environment that we are in currently as well in the Boeing Center here at Techport. I know we've gotten a chance to hang out there here, and it's been such a great environment with everybody around it too. Shout out to National Guard as well. Find your calling at nationalguard.com. Again, that's nationalguard.com. A big thank you to them for making it possible here at the Forge Scholastic Esports Championships. I've had a blast already, and it's just day one, Zoe.
Yep. Again, meeting the players, meeting everybody that's here making it possible behind us, down to the very staff of the event. And again, I mean, it's technically day 2 because we had the Color Media Day. We had some of those big decider happens already. So there's teams that are like, oh, we're back. We already played. We've already gotten acquainted into the space. But these 2 teams, again, are getting onto the main stage for the first time.
That's right. And being able to get that experience as well. I'll thank you to Rally Cry as well, who invited us out, and being able to connect with a multitude of different conferences and really thriving within the esports space as well. So we encourage you to check out Rally Cry and thank them if you see a member of their team for making this possible, being able to gather the troops for something truly special on this stage. You see the players dialed in, locked in, ready to get going. And of course, when you're out for revenge, you gotta have those high emotions and ride them a little bit, but you never want to get too much into it. You never want to go over the top. You gotta have that balance.
And that's where I think Baker has struck that balance already. Again, this is more of a standard to them, is getting to these events, and that's just how you perform at them. Versus NC State, again, they're getting those reps and starting to, so they're the ones that I could see having the nerves kick in a little bit. You're trying to get your feet under you in the server, having to make that slower start, like they did when they previously faced off against Baker before.
That's exactly right. So when we talk about Haven here, there's a multitude of different options that you could potentially go with here, and obviously, Neon actually was removed from the game temporarily. I believe she's back, potential to be there, so that's something to eyeball here. Whether or not she'll get that play, if she's available here today, is something that we've yet to see. So
I mean, even if she's a viable option to server, like to select, is anybody going to? Shotgun's just got nerfed. Her strafe speed just got nerfed.
It's tough.
It's like, okay, Haven, you had your Neon Yoru. Yoru gets nerfed. Now your Neon's nerfed. They're just like knocking off Haven compositions more than anything right now.
That's very true. And it's again, if you're talking about the standard here too, I expect no doubt you'll have a silver here, as you always do. And of course, those strong initiatives are incredibly important. Let's go ahead and check and see where they do lock in here for Haven, as we have NC State on that right side, and it's basically business as usual for them. Brace is going to be consistently on this helmet, and rightfully so. Great opportunity to be able to provide your team.
I think this current meta does favor NCSU a lot. Freak has been a consistent Phoenix even before it was considered the quote-unquote meta, I think. So it makes sense that this is where the direction is going with Neon being nerfed into the ground. It's then just going to mean there's not a spice of life to the game, unfortunately. It's to remind me more of like Ascent, where it's going to be like one comp to rule them all. The only difference we might get to see is those Sentinels, right? Ladder moves versus generic. And I think ladder moves and Nami are the 2 to watch for me, actually, on that side for Baker. And on the flip side, again, I feel like Nuthium, you mentioned Sova's consistency. He is the consistency for NC State. Like, so clutch, and his ability to manage space solo around side smokes is something that's going to be something to rival once they're on the defense.
Definitely. I'm watching Demon on that side as well. And, I kind of loved seeing Waylay make waves. But when we talk about Haven, we go right back to the Jet, the old tried and true that has been there day one, has always been with us. Right? And Demon is a difference maker on this team as well. Hijinks can certainly lead this team as well from the controller role, does a great job. They'll be locking in Omen. So very close in terms of these comps. Obviously, you mentioned it. The KJ and Cypher will be the difference between these two as we kick things off. And on the defensive side, it will be Baker versus NC State. See if they can't find a little bit of value here on this attack side. You're looking for at least a few rounds as things get going.
Information gathering versus strategic retakes. Yep. That's the Sentinels and how they're going to define the differences between these two teams. But NC State looking to leverage that double duelist quick and effectively into Garage. But look at this. Baker has a decent stack there. They have the Killjoy util on top of that to sprinkle in. I think we're going to get a duelist debut right there.
Why wait? When you're in for it, you want to see it right up there and see how they measure up against one another, some would say. I think you're up this way and go this way. It's going to be a very quick and hot exchange. The two Jets basically face to face here. Waits for that curveball. Didn't find the right time to flash.
It's a trap off the alarm bot.
This will be the time shot here as they swing an easy take here in Garage. Exactly how you expect it to go down, especially when you have that stronghold and had some intuition into knowing how this attack wanted to go.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Baker wanted that defensive round to go. Again, collapse off the alarm bot, get control over that spike.
One enemy
stay out. And while somebody was slipping through the cracks there a little bit, it's quickly been patched up, but it's all down to Nuthium in the 1v4.
How great is this? Oh, by the way, down they go. And a great way to start off. Pistol round win here for this squad, and really looking to build off of this one. Just a very simple hold here. Take them. They knew Garage was a viable option. They were able to read it all the way. And a very important round one win.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they did have the double duelist stack on the KJ side of the map for a pistol. It was a huge gamble that pays off handsomely. And for NC State, I think then the concern is going to be, are they going to be leveraging really revenge to get that information, right? You need that early confirmation more than anything.
All classics across the way, by the way. Not going to upgrade at all, so they're looking for something big whenever this round goes down. That extra little bit of cash into their hands, so we'll see. Should be enough to be able to do it. Well, they still hold dark cover, so they're thinking against that. Maybe thinking the hot hold from B. Previous rounds might be sticking in their brains here as they develop into. Now looking for the B side, but they're going to run into Demon. That is a tough pill to swallow here. The Outlaw able to win one.
Oh, and ping-ponging the Judge Bear.
Oh, no. Shotguns there, but not enough when you're going to chest the waters here into Garage. Unfortunately, be on the wrong side of that exchange. And weaponry will play wonders here for Baker. Already early Demon. I talked about how he's going to be able to find a few. That's going to be 3. And as to be expected, Baker is certainly taking this round by storm. How handedly they did take it is good, and that's not a good sign. Couple whips, it'll be a flawless round here.
Oh, and then because Demon funneled all of those Outlaw kills as well, one off from the Blade Storm, what you really need to see in this third round bonus coming out is a little bit of aggressiveness just to get orb control, and then you can alleviate that pressure and play a retake off of, again, Demon coming to the stage and being 7-0, essentially. And
wow.
I will say, for the flip side, for NC State, I liked the start of the round, again, gathering the intel of what that KJ setup's going to look like C-side. I think they were trying to draw rotations out, perhaps, to get generic in, but it felt like they didn't commit enough and draw enough time away. So then when they regrouped, no one had moved. Baker Swarm looking solid, looking strong, and here, as we promised, is going to be that 8 fight for the orb.
In this class, the classic across the board on the last 5, if you will, or lack thereof, essentially. Playing the wonders, because when there's a flawless against, at least you had enough to take the full buy this time around. They will be prepared. Well, I guess no Blaze here for Freaks and not a complete full buy. However, you'll have weaponry that looks pretty good. So they will look to smoke off this Garage and see if they take it here.
Lighter C-hold this time as well out of Baker. Very retake-centric, and I think NC State's realized now when there's no KJ, but the contact hijinks had the hero available. That's gone already.
Perfect. Loberston, they have C by Storm. Already taken it. Secured. And Spike will be planted as
Spike planted.
Baker playing this well. Ready for the rest of the troops to gather around as they make their way eventually on this side. He said Nami will be a difference maker looking to clear out Garage and take a little bit of space. If possible, the paranoia will deter them from that thought, and potentially you have Demon looking to get onto site early. Although again, the shotgun can't do much from that distance. And NC State getting on the board here. Great job utilizing that full buy to be able to get the job done.
Yeah, really, really strong round from Brits
Yeah.
in particular. Even though it was a 2-2 kill, it's like the paranoia to appease the garage control, keep that, maintain that, so then you can group up and have that dynamic alongside Freak there on the CT choke. So all in all, very strong close out there. Again, I think Hijinks got caught a little unawares, a little surprised because of the lack of the KJ util. And I think the biggest surprise to me is that Demon didn't get the Orbe main, didn't have the blades on that retake, had to hand it off and go diving in with a judge. And again, shotguns nerf, Neon and versus Jet scaling are not the same, and those are the repercussions. Bonus loss, NC on the board.
Exactly right, and looking to get more, looking to ride that momentum. And hasn't shown anything A, and that's why you see basically everybody lined up B and allowing KJ to just lock down C. But they're going to just walk it all the way down C long. Let's test the waters here. Ladder right place, right time. It only catches the run it back, and Ladder gets a one here. Genie will fall, so eventually gets first blood. Anyway, the blades do land one, but they fell immediately after. And once you trades back and forth will leave us in a situation where it's a 3v2 favoring Baker and NC State, lefting twiddling their thumbs. They do not have Spike in hand, so this round almost feels like a loss here at this point.
Yeah, it felt very reminiscent of the pistol. Spike goes down and you're left, okay, how do we salvage this? But I think the reason why we got to this point, Baker Swarm, within 20 seconds had 4 players on that site on top of the KJ. And I think the confidence in these rotates is something I really need to see Generic being the one to exploit as that ideal lurk player, because I feel like they've been playing very, you mentioned simplistic, walking up C-long, very grouped, and that is not intrinsic to a Haven Senti. But this round's not over. There can still be some slippery seals, and they've gotten at least through B, but again, split, hold. Here. All these ranching points is the name of the game for Baker Swarm right now.
I think it's the appropriate approach. You know that they're going down C-long just to test the waters there, because you didn't really give away a lot in terms of audio. And for that reason, look to walk it back. Revenge will be there. Curveball, though, will give them away as far as where they're coming from, so Revenge will call the rest over almost momentarily here. The 1-2, it'll be a 3-piece but Freak, but as far as it'll go, it'll be a 3-1 advantage here after everybody getting in the kill column that time around here for Big.
Yeah, and I think for NC State, great management, I think, of trying to split up those crossfires when you don't have information, when it is a Cypher and a Phoenix in that clutch position. But yeah, off angle uncleared, backside the kills still go Baker Swarm's way. So again, on the path towards Revenge, as we have mentioned, but it's more, again, Demon leading that charge. And now 3-1, a little reshuffling here, maybe a double duelist fight down both avenues, or you can play a little bait and switch and they scale into the Jet tucked away on top.
I feel like Baker, yeah, great intuition, by the way. Have 3 lines of A, 1 looking serious, obviously. Got Demon neck.
Wow.
Catch the rest here.
And when this Odin comes online, it feels impossible to go A.
I'm telling you. And that's why they maybe didn't approach it in the first place. Overall, Drone will find one. We'll tag them, and certainly at this point in time, you got to call it. But now it's a tougher decision, because now your options are quite limited, whether you go B or C, and not many successes either way. And just playing it patiently instead.
Yeah, a broken buy here. A judge again on Garage. If Ladder moves forward, this side would open up, but that's an if.
A big if for sure. Doorway battle, but taken out of the hands of Ladder. That judge will not do the trick here. NC State now finding one. Generic opening up possibilities, being able to get on a site, being able to clear it out. That's a good Senti and what they'll do for you. But now, of course, the rest of the team to kind of follow suit. They want to move quickly, and through sewers they go right now.
Yeah, Generic opened up this entire world for them, but the Odin is about to make it come crashing down. No, Freaks.
30 seconds left.
Ready in, got it right in heaven. Here's Demon, pull back down 2, had an opportunity, but was staring down the barrel of 2 weapons this time around in Hijinks. 1v3 situation and scenario here. And with the Vandal, they already know where you are. They're going to challenge into it. You're not going to win that battle, unfortunately. NC State, a much-needed round, it felt like, to be able to get one back here and pull back within 1 round.
You know, 100%. NC State, that round did exactly what we wanted. They fought for the ace base. Yes, they lost some players to the Odin spray, but they got Generic deposited, and Generic slowly, methodically. You forget about that thought in the back of your head, and it is gone. And so was his positioning. So that was effective. I think where Baker Swarm kind of got a little complicated was they didn't wait for Hijinks to get back into that position on the flank before initiating into the site. And that was, again, the overpeak of the Odin, maybe from Heaven, to credit that too. But that was good productivity then from Hijinks to re-clear all this space to make sure nobody else was lurking, and then get, again, that team surrounded. So, again, maybe more patience on the retakes and it'll be a bit more stable, but I mean 3-2, you're still up. You have the ult cycle in your favor, but you might not have the weapons.
You're on the attack too, finding rounds too. That really helps here. This team is able to get out with his life, trying to swing in. Was able to tail winds out the cloud burst and back out to B. But even when NC State was in a compromised position, last round was able to find their way out of it because of those big plays. It was all about timing and execution, whether or not they carry it into this round now. A minute 12, Baker's been doing a great job to keep them at bay, and look how much space they're taking all the way through window.
Okay, Revenge. It's kind of a one and done, but it'll give all the answers for the stack to rotate from C back towards A. The question mark now is going to be if the jet down C long can make enough noise to draw numbers, or... Oh, this feels like a mistake from NC State.
Yeah, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. They're about to run into a whole bunch of firepower, plus the KJ. We already know that kid can be deadly, but they'll go ahead and dash on site. Hijinks ready for it, throws out the Paranoia. Demon able to find them and snuff them out in an instant. NC State, well, they didn't recognize it off the bat, but they eventually did realize it. They're running out of time.
And it's a perfect call, but look at where the Sova now has scaled out of Garden, got past the cycling of the spy cam, and can cut off these rotates, be main even.
Yeah, nobody knows. They're stuck here. Sure, in the back of their mind, they're thinking it might be a possibility, and that's why Generic was able to at least fight off Revenge and keep them busy while they rotated B, but they forgot about ladder moves there, but they're only good for one. So in this situation, Demon was looking to chase them down as well. Spike going to go all the way A side, and they are able to take out Generic, so looking a lot better here as far as the retake goes for Baker.
I mean, they'll get the plan down because from the shadows solidified that A control for Brits, but how much more can they survive? A 4v2, a Thrifty in the making for Baker Swarm.
Had that Hunter security to try to snuff them out. Let them skip for one, but Hijinks will answer it with the Outlaw.
Brits.
Just one left. Has the right spot. Great trigger discipline, but couldn't land one. They still don't find him. It took them longer, but you just wish you got a little bit more there if you're Brits.
Wow. And I will say, great attempt for NC State to stabilize after they fought into the eco stack of Baker Swarm on that C side. I liked the, again, B2A pivot. Yeah, you mentioned maybe the oversight about ladder moves, but again, I think it was
not ready yet.
The crazy play from Brits that even got the spike down there from the shadows. A side clears out the entire space and then rallies the troops. And it would have been great if you would got all three of those. That would have been like a heck of a clip to have on later. But maybe the nerves, warming up here again in the first map of this round robin stage.
It was almost too good to be true. You see three of them. It was a thrifty round, so
those
you
are the
knew
hardest
they were ready
targets
to go.
to hit, the ones that are turned with their back to you.
It does. It really does. And it becomes a whole different mental battle that you got to be. It's a battle within a battle, some would say. But Baker's got the 4-2 lead now off that thrifty. Feeling a lot better about their buy.
Standing ahead.
It's Revenge, the ultimate lineup to get in and see what they can find. But I'm actually didn't get that intel. With all four of them moving A long now.
Very, very direct. Again, double duelist dive. Got to run it back. They don't clear out short, though. This is going to be a major oversight because look at Revenge utilizing the site smoke.
Oh, boy. Revenge right behind it, knowing exactly where they can fight. They look through. But that's back-to-back, and they don't get as much as I imagined they would. Ladder will swing in. To get one now, a 2v2 scenario. They've got Heaven locked and loaded as well, but they don't see Generic. Generic was hitting that backside. And now, Navi falls down towards south, looking for Generic, but still struggling. I mean, it is tough. But listen, you gotta hit that one. That feels bad.
You got two players mind melding and both popped and swinging at each other at the exact same moment. And it just looks so silly, but the results are huge there. Again, that was another buy. Baker Swarm's been stuck in this again, back and forth, wavering economy, and that could allow NC State to tie us up, to catch us up here. And again, it felt like there were so many potential moments of heroics out of Baker Swarm that round. They had a setup for it, and then they all came crashing down with super effective trades left, right, and center. And once again, Generic mentioned exploiting these lurk spaces, these lurk timings. Finally, he is hitting that nail on the head. 6 and 4, and it is making all the difference in the big swing rounds.
Yeah, and despite the success here at A, they're going to have a C-look here. That's what they wanted to go with off the rip, but we were just trying to make some noise. Unfortunately, it kind of noted.
Yeah, it's weird like that he swings out of his cage when the idea there is going to be interrupted by the operator for Demon very briefly, was to fake that they were like all crossing into short, like 5 were going A, but then that completely spoils it when you see solo players swinging out long, but Revenge took on the first. Find more.
Uh-oh. Revenge so patient, knowing that they might come back. NC State's kind of been playing this back and forth in attacker spawn, and it's really playing into the hands of Baker, who knew better, was ready for it. So, all things considered, although they let NC State get a few rounds back here, and they're back within one, they're still doing the right things at the end of the day. You're going to try to stack up on this defensive side, where it's not able to quite get it there. A flawless round here from Baker quietly.
It's like a super glass cannon, right? It's like everyone has pistols minus your op and your Odin, and they literally ended up fighting into both the op and the Odin out of NC State on that round. And that's what allowed Baker Swarm to maintain their lead here, to start building up those economic reserves. And I think for NC State, I completely agree that Baker's having a hard time tracking their movements, and that's been their biggest strength. strength. But as a result, Baker Swarm are like, okay, let's look for those answers ourselves. Let's fight into them, right? Revenge, scaling down long. Again, Demon swinging out Garage. And that is rewarding them really, really well here.
Big time. We saw that on a multitude of different occasions. Revenge being able to get through window in that one round that just caught them. Their pants down. But NC State now. They're down 2. To find something, you have this Senti presence looking through Garage. Just not going to find much there. The first battle will be in Sewers. And Shani really couldn't feel comfortable about that exchange, and that's why they're backing out just a little bit. NC State remains in this no rush attitude. This time Baker is not really occupying much space as we've seen in the past because NC State's been showing a little bit less of their hand.
Yeah, they wanted it to be a very explosive execute here. After, though, breaking all of the KJ default utility, and Baker Swarm mentioned it, when they go without answers, like you mentioned for a while, they go searching, Nami, scaling short, just to see if they can hear a little sound cue or not, but don't want to hand any of these your rifles over either.
Be tough to go through. They got Sewers on lock.
Oh, they have all they need.
Yeah.
The rotates should start coming over from C. They're going to have a lockdown to possibly expend within 35 seconds of the round. Once again, there's a lurk player, or I should say a double back, that could completely upend this, and that's exactly the route NC State are taking.
Demon took that Q, but missed the shot. Oh no, he got the first shot of Revenge with the Odin as well to make it 2, and you just ran into a firing squad here at this point in time. I mentioned NC State being patient. Well, Baker was doing exactly the same. And now in a 1v5 situation yet again, that's back-to-back flawless rounds. Flawless rounds on lock here for Baker. They've been looking a lot stronger here.
Yeah, I mean, NC State, their hand was forced, right, from the Shadows completely reveals where the entire squad is heading. We're on an eco round. You cannot be fighting into numbers, and the rotations were getting kickstarted from Baker. So the B backpedal was really effective.
Yep.
It was just, again, because those players were already in a link for Baker, they were just reflooding in, and that is very, very hard to handle with only pistols in hand. So what could have gone differently? I think they played it as well as they could, and it's just unfortunate those shots sometimes don't align, nor do those timings. So timeout being taken, though, for NC State, because they've yet to break through. Like, they've been trailing by that 1, trailing by that 2, and now that gap is starting to widen bare light.
Would you, for me, I'm wondering, are they doing a little bit too much? Like, I love the fact that you're getting rid of the KJ, util there, and then you're like immediately just swinging out of it instead of potentially challenging into it. Now you want to make sure the timing is right, but I'm just curious in what you think.
I am a big proponent of you can overplay Valorant. Again, you can play a good Valorant or you can win Valorant is the idea here. And some of the rounds we did see from NC State, like that direct A hit off the run it back with the double duelist dashing in, was their best look. I will agree with you. And I think that's where the issue right now is you have a retake strategy for Baker Swarm. Again, lockdown, Hunter's Fury. And that's even if they can still break into the A site, because that was when A was being given up by Baker. Now they have the Odin perpetually spraying it down. Again, they have the Operator, either Garage, C-Long, you don't know. And so that's where I do think I was going to get at this conclusion. C is their best bet, but that's only if you can get past Demon.
Demon is keeping them guessing. That is for sure. And right now, they might be guessing wrong. Oh, dark cover, they guessed right on. But they moved anyways. Although they missed a shot, they were able to tailwind out. But Demon's having to dodge away from the Hunter's Fury. And it actually caught Ladder in their sights before getting onto site. As another dark cover to get off the defensive side. And they take C and should be able to occupy it as well. And Baker will have to gear up for a retake opportunity this time. It's been a while since we said that.
Yeah, perfectly layered, perfectly executed there from NC State. And that additional pressure from Freak, well, kind of thwart any sort of cohesive Baker Swarm retake effort for the time being. But it's a 3v4 they want to go for.
Will it happen? Hygiene set up a good look, has 2 piece and gets the 3rd as well. Nice job to stay focused, locked in, but drop the guard down for just a second. And Generic comes out with a clutch with a 3-piece of his own.
Huge. Will thwart Baker Swarm getting a lead at the half for the time being. And that was after, an unsupported maybe 1, 2, 3. We're also looking at different times there into hijinks there in Garage. That made it seem like the wind was shifting in Baker Swarm's favor.
NC State sticking with it. Nice job from Generic. Having a great Senti in that role, fantastic. For them to be able to do both.
And Chenny, yes, is 2 and 10, but he made the space on the site. He's the one that broke up that Operator, broke up the backside control, and allowed the rest to get into that space. Can they do it again, though? Off, right place, right time. Once again, Demon, pressure upon him to full stop anchor the site, because the KJ's still rotating over.
The back and forth with the operator, maybe getting predictable here. They're able to at least know that it was there, and that's why they went sewers instead. They've got their hands full with ladder. Again, it's Cheney, but they're not going to be distracted. Not this time around. Now the knives are pulled as well as they get 4 out of the 5 exchanges there in favor of Baker, and you've got Generic. He pulled it off last round. But Baker, that's exactly what you wanted. And the bounce back rounds here will have the 4-1 advantage here, and Spike in hand too. So Baker able to have a quick response.
Yeah, you clutched the last round, Generic. I don't know about this one. Spike in no man's land. Yeah, 30 HP. Thinking about saving for the last remainder of the half. And for that round, I was worried about the timing. Like, they almost got the jump on them with that, again, very forward-focused mentality, the simplification that felt like it was coming out of that timeout. But then you suddenly had the KJ there with the alarm bot, and I have no clue how Demon hit that shot on Cheney. Again, that dash over the box while Freak was swinging looked like it was going to get the job done. Again, a war on 2 fronts, but dismantled and now left Generic.
Just tracking, I mean, right spot. And Nami didn't know we'll go through window. We check it out. I mean, because the farthest spot of the map would be C, so that's maybe where they're thinking. And Generic was trying to catch them on the way through.
Left.
Now, that being said, they let their guard down here. And
Generic wants to search, though. Like, 30 HP needs a timing kill here.
Yeah.
But that would be the neural left for the last round online.
Very accurate. All things said and done. Will be Baker with another one in hand, especially on the defensive side here for Haven. Somehow missed that, though. That seemed like it was going to be pretty straightforward, so it is what it is, though.
No kill, no ult. Very unfortunate, but that's the lead to Baker Swarm. Money stays stable for the remainder of the half. Cannot same be said for NC State, though. Again, some hero rifles littering the arsenal, but it's those stingers, that Bucky. They're going to be fun to witness, and so they want to head back A. You mentioned the op, how it was going like a predictable pattern of movement. This time they're finally not fighting into it, at least. The Odin's just as deadly at times. That's where the From the Shadows from Brits comes in.
And get things cooking. Here's the away long this time around. And already in heaven. Thanks from the Shadow split this site in half, but kind of sensed something coming, and sure enough, it was 3 heavens, so getting out of dodge just in time is a understatement here, as the spike will be planted here at this point in time, but you've got the rest of the cavalry. Baker happy to play into this retake situation, although the shock bolt will chase Demon out temporarily. Only took 25 from the HP department here. And now on site and getting their holds, more importantly, but Baker just waiting to get their entry as well. Oh, how about a Demon operator shot? We've seen that plenty already. And now trying to chase them down as the rest should have it. I mean, they're just being super aggressive. Generic and Nithium only good for 2. But hold on, they're doing a great job, but Hijinks had the high ground thanks to the Shrouded Step and plus chase him down that way too with the ball gun. Wall bang rather, 8-4 now for Baker.
And that's kind of that pacing where we wanted them to play to their own tempo on the retakes, right? One of those A retakes that was lost because Hijinks wasn't scaled down A long just yet. And I liked it. They covered all their bases, right? They had ladder moves way too long, obviously, for Generic to have that mid-timing, and Generic never came, so then they rotate over, they proc the lockdown, and even wait for Demon to be in the position to capitalize off of it instead of forcing the hand to play a retake with an operator, which is always a double-edged sword. So again, played their own game till the remainder of the half. 8-4, NC State now on that defensive side, and again, I look at this and I'm like, okay, run it back is a retake ult. That's really it, right? Again, it's not that lockdown like Baker Swarm had, so I'll be looking towards Generic to full stop anchor and control space, or towards the double duel we're seeing on the pistol, a different look, right? It was Baker with a trap on Garage. NC State want to look like they're fighting into grass.
Yeah, exactly. You love the difference of approach, but the same concept remains. It's just a different way to get to the same point like that, but Ladders was able to draw first blood. Answer early too. And now through window, you saw 3 heads, but there's not much you can do at that point in time. Cheney will fall as well. Demon back-to-back picks will open the door, and Revenge does the rest of 3-1 now for Baker.
Nithium mentioned the heroics has been quiet in the server today. A 1v3 to right the ship when being down 4-8 after the pistol would be huge, but knife out is not how you're going to get there. And what we just saw was a good old Baker Swarm, right? It's like 1B dies, sends out the scent, and the rest come and refrag and avenge, right? What we just saw from ladder moves falling in that grass exchange. Great reactivity, communication, and then streamlined action.
Talk about brand awareness and knowing who you are, all right? That's fantastic. They really did swarm.
They did.
For NC State, yeah, it's all going to be about early round execution for sure, because you mentioned the retake will be incredibly difficult, and you have the Cypher as well to give you intel early. So in that aspect, and be able to hold off a site too, it's all about how well can you do in that. And I think Baker, it'll be interesting to see if they get more aggressive because of that, if they feel confident in those exchanges, or if they want to play the NC State game, which is find the right time to strike. In this round, at least, that seems to be the approach.
Yeah, Baker cannot risk fighting into a stack like our NC State did last.
Yeah.
So slow, methodical. Know that the Phoenix is A side because of that initial Blaze Wall investment, but do not know that slowly behind it, Kenny is taking space. So this will be a nice answer so they can lean the stack ideally towards C, towards B out of NC State. So I'm surprised that they've kept the Sova short and the Phoenix in a link after, again, that certainty. And now they're going to realize that they've been duped, that this is the C end, and it's going to be a free site, actually, for Baker Swarm to plant.
Yeah, Generic's been the best NC State player. That's who you want on that site to be able to get you that intel, and so it'll always give you a fighting chance here in this moment. Spike will be planted by Nami with no challenge whatsoever, but that means that there's 5 left for NC State, and they're going to be gathering in garage, a bit of a garage party here. It's Dark Cover with the first one to out as far as Util goes to get them on. The dash in, Freak finds one, but again not able to land it as Demon pops off. Hello? 2 with the Outlaw says I need to reload, or goes for 2 for the 4Ps.
He picked up a Phantom after getting the 2 Outlaw shots.
That's unbelievable.
And then somehow switches to Ghost because maybe the Phantom ran out of bullets?
Guys, at that point in time, we ran out of bullets, you switch over really
it's like
quickly.
clip that, because I think the Outlaw shots also were through the mid-sight smoke from the Omen. That or like had some weird plat drop-down timing. I don't know, but that looked like it was going really bad until it wasn't for Baker Swarm, right? They were taking those fights together one at a time, dismantled again. The Omen caught out default, the Sova overfighting long, and those mistakes looked like they were going to add up, but Baker Swarm, again, heroics, firepower that this team has lifts them above the rest. And they get to double digits where NC State, same style of start.
And I don't want to discredit Cheney because you're absolutely right. Like, the distraction plays have been working for NC State in those particular rounds. However, it has been a duelist difference, in my opinion, just plain and simple. Like, Demon has been on a different level, and you want your duelist to be able to find those. And that's exactly what they've been able to do as far as winning those gunfights. Open up a whole world of hurt for Baker. NC State just look a little bit shaky. Again, they've been missing their shots, which is very uncommon for a team like this. So Blaze will give them B to stop up on, but Cheney up close and personal in the dark cover does find the right time to swing. And now that's going to be 2 back-to-back. Listen, I talk a little bit ill, and suddenly you got the 3-piece. The swing should be good, missed it, but they're able to distract enough. And Nodium comes around to be able to clean this up. And now it's NC State able to fire back here.
That's the caster effect in full swing. You mentioned someone, you called them out, and they immediately performed. That reflood timing was a risk, albeit, but they heard the reload, they saw the opportunity, and they seized it. A great multi-kill, and otherwise dark time, right? You lose that round, Baker are basically guaranteed to get to 12 off of your eco round, because we haven't seen NC State win a 50 yet. And now, I mean, 5 rounds to go sounds feasible in Valorant cycling, right? You miss 1 ult cycle, one eco cycle, and you're good, you're back in business.
And NC State's always been that team that's been historically better on the defense, so it's like, Haven, that makes it a little bit difficult, and maybe the cards are stacked against you, but all things considered, within an arm's reach, granted a very long arm, essentially. But it's still trying to gear up for this. You see a hold there on Sewers. In fact, they're going to walk this down as well. Not only that, but A long. So cutting that entire side of the map off here, essentially, so it'll be BC unless they can get that initial pick. And even still, they'll have that look to you. Genie is right where they could make that mistake if they let their guard down. That being said, Baker hasn't done that a whole lot. Genie has a good look. Trigger discipline will be good for 1, and the turn on it. And in back-to-back rounds, they have multiple kills.
What do we say? Warm-up map. That's all this is.
Well,
That's what Haven is best for. Again, the Crispus mechanical sight lines. And Jenny says, I'm going to decline the difficult angle that is a short, but Nuthium is up for the challenge, replaces them on the corner. It's like a bait and switch, but the drone is having none of it out of revenge.
Now that'll be an easy pickoff. Or did they see? Yeah, they did.
Shotgun smallies. Yeah, they're good to go.
Sure enough, and still doesn't matter though. Lithium was good for it on the quick turn. 2, Generic was taking care of business on the other side. You get 1, but not 2. And Genie, with back-to-back 3 pieces this time, has come to life. And now they're back within 4.
Yeah, I think they were hesitant to sink their teeth in there for Baker Swarm, given the number disadvantage. And That's where I think they needed to speed it up a little bit more and take those fights when they had them.
Yes.
Because it was, again, a 2v2 at one point, and the rotates were coming over, and that's where the paranoia got to get set up, and then you couldn't find those isolated engagements anymore. But timeout coming out for Baker Swarm side. A 10-6 here. Again, they realize that NC State is picking up steam. They realize that this could have just been an off map for some of their key players, those key pieces that are now getting upgrades.
Yeah.
And I think that shows that they are trying to take this seriously, even though it's a group stage match. And there's that revenge that we're mentioning.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I love this timeout as well. You know, you see the biggest, most common mistake for a lot of teams, especially in a live environment at a LAN, is taking the timeout too late. You think that you can get it together early, that you can kind of fix things rounds to rounds, but then you blink, and then you realize that they're back within 2 rounds, back within 1 round, and then you're calling a timeout. At that point in time, they figure something out. They've got momentum rolling. Their vibes are extremely high versus still a little bit iffy. Why not pause them in their tracks, let them think a little bit longer while you're able to kind of formulate what you've seen ahead of you. I think it's a perfect time to take this timeout. It may seem early, but at the end of the day, I like it.
Yeah, you have another one if it gets to like a 10-10, right, when it's OT or not.
That's right.
I think the big reason for this is what we mentioned. It's like 2 econ cycles worth of comeback for NC State, and we just saw Baker Swarm go through that first cycle. Now they're in the econ on the next. I think it's more so not how to win this 30 on the timeout's about, but how not to lose the next rifle. But that doesn't mean they're not going to have an eco strat. Look at this. Blades out. You got your run it back. Let's see if they can go quick through Garage.
You can do both. And why not? And they've occupied it. The thought process is obviously towards C. They've got a couple parked there if you're NC State. In fact, a couple have been communicated to as well. So such a quick reaction here from NC State. And a curveball though from Nami should be huge. They do get one. It took them a minute though to get it. And even though they'll connect, it's only with the run it back. Nami will get their chance back, plus a lot of information on knowing where they might be. 3. Thinking about how they're going to approach this here on C.
They know how important Freaky is to this retake, right? That's why, for example, the Omen falls instead. It should be the run it back to kick things started. I mean, 5v4, it's Nico. Gotta go for it, and here we go.
And gear up here through the dark cover. They're going to go ahead and challenge into it. It's a Cloud Burst just following that Phoenix in as well. Lithium is good for the first one, and that is a good sign here. Make it 2. As Nami will fall, and they're right back on it too. Should be an easy defuse as well, as they need to probably challenge into this one. They're not going to stick it, at least not yet. Now is the time to do it when nobody's left because Generic got to work.
Yeah, left limping, but they're victorious nonetheless. Denying that eco round from Baker Swarm, denying the momentum shift out of timeout for the time being. And I think that was a good balance between getting aggressive and not throwing it all away, right?
Definitely.
In terms of, again, waiting cohesively to retake that together. And I'm glad that they respected the momentum that Baker Swarm had in that round, in that eco, and just getting the C site under their control and investing both the blades and the run it back. We'll see if they can get them back before this relegation is up, if the comeback continues. But this is where eyes are drawn to Baker Swarm. This is the make or break moment if this is going to be a tie game or not. And
yeah.
I think they like how quickly, easily they got onto the C site, so I like Chenny putting the operator here. And I'm curious to see if Baker Swarm end here, what fixes after the eco round they adopt.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, they were discussing both rounds. They had to have been planning for this exact occasion. You may not win the round last time on the eco, that's fine. You're at least being able to dive in, harm a little bit of the eco of NC State, although they're still thriving in that sense. Plus, Cheney's got this operator, and now that they've fired up, now they seem to be warm. They're not missing their shots now, I'll tell you that. And that will be a deterrent from C-Long as the operator lands, so now they're test their chances here at B.
Oh, they're going to have to contact anywhere they go without that initiator, and that post-punch just got 10 times weaker without that Hunter's Fury.
Watch your eyes! Going up. Careful now.
And that Blaze is going to go up just to cut it in half, but you missed the shots again. Sometimes verticality, it's just about throwing them off a little bit, and that's exactly what developed right here to Paranoia. And that'll be a tough task, so they're just going to back out wisely. Let that pass. That way you're not hindered as you're on your way back in the site here, Shady. Not only are they snubbed out, but you saw ladder first and foremost there. You had some lineups there from Brits, but they weren't able to even land one. It'll be Baker. We said it was a very important round, and they walk away with the round 1.
And even though it's different sites, you can see how different the post plants looked from the previous round into that Baker Swarm round. Again, for NC State, they had last time, again, they still had the paranoia, they still had to run it back. They had a lot of resources, so the players had to split up, play off-site, play distance. There, they all stayed on the B site, stayed super grouped up because paranoia was already out. The Phoenix was already down. Again, this composition that NC State running isn't scary to play against in the retake, especially when we know that Shenny had an operator too. So, again, nothing scary in the utility department, no more neon relay bolts and such. And NC State, we mentioned how important that round would have been to win, and they are fortunately not going to get it. So instead, they're going aggro off of the own Hunter's Fury. A little trap there, perhaps.
Yep, peeking there. Wanted to catch them while they had their guard down. You mentioned that they had an operator. They still have that operator, Channing does, and C-Site. So that's why they haven't even considered that as an option here. They'll go window to aim towards B. They will end up having to fight a trap wire, which they're pretty confident is probably going to be there, so they should be privy to it. And there's nobody on B. Look, as they thought there was potentially A. They got NC State to bite, and now this will be huge as the lockdown imminent. They just want to get on site. They want to get a plant down at the end of the day here if you're Baker.
Yeah, this is going to be a big test. This still should keep Revenge alive as well to get off site for the Hunter's Fury.
Yep.
We mentioned NC State. It's difficult to read this comp. A 5v5 up against Hunter Fury is going to be the best litmus test we could have asked for, and it's decide map point.
That's right. The story continues to heat up late in this map number 1 if you're just joining us, by the way. So now you wait patiently. Spike has been planted, but you've got basically everybody here. Demon has to be pitch perfect. They've been good all map long, fighting up a curveball, fighting up the rest, but not being able to win the fight. As Generic will chase them up, and that's going to be a difficult chance. Hunter's Fury here for revenge as they try to get in. Will land 2. And Break, though, back-to-back with the exact answer you wanted from NC State. Pros don't fake. Doesn't even matter anyways. They got the rest of the kills through. A 3-piece from Generic will set them up, and NC State back within 3.
We need Generic to get the Bodyguard of the Year award. That it was phenomenal. It was a great setup there for Baker Swarm. A little whiffy out of Demon, but he needs his off days too. 26 and 11 now. And I think what really helped them out was the way Freak was investing his utility was to gain maximal space in that backside, and that's what allowed them to kind of come together out of C in a link when otherwise there was really oppressive spray down utility coming from Baker Swarm from off-site. And yeah, I will say theirs also doesn't have the most time delay factor in the post plant, the composition that Baker Swarm's running, especially when the cage is not like double swarm grenade lineups.
Exactly, and you find just so much more on the defensive side versus the attack. Sure, the lockdown got you in a prime spot, and you mentioned the value they found from the Hunter's Fury too, so it was a swell attempt, most, if not all, would say. So NC State back into a comfortable spot as far as being able to challenge, and obviously Baker just one away from that point, so very cautious with each individual round. Don't want to get too risky for that same case, but you don't want to also play differently. You want to just keep that same mindset going on. Here is the Owl drone, should be able to locate, nope. Fell short before they were able to detect anything, so Baker's Swarm now will continue to be a little bit sneakier.
We haven't seen this kind of multi-layered fake and silent scale up from Baker Swarm, but I feel like it's going to work once this Sova Dart or drone goes through C long, but I think Jig is up before then, Bearlight.
You see you got Curveball and you got Demon right on you. To take that thought process away, and now Baker Swarm has said, let's go ahead and swing C, and it's a perfect decision in my eyes, as everybody got very focused from the NC State side towards A.
30 seconds left.
Now they might be thinking against that too. Generic's been good early for NC State and has also been very wise in knowing how this might be the cage from Generic to get them into sight in the first place, and they pick spot after spot as they completely go through, but Ladders with the 2-piece will make it interesting here. They were able to plant the spike. If they get this 1v1, it would be huge. Dealing with the Jet though. Fought around it, that's 1, make it 2, Ladders with a big clutch here, a 4-piece, and they're on map point now.
And it's just like the first half, right? Some small mistakes add up. Baker Swarm look like they're going to lose a round, and then suddenly somebody comes through from the darkness, and this time it's ladder moves. 16 and 13 on the scoreboard has gotten map point for Baker Swarm on the North Carolina State's map pick, by the way. And whew, that one's a confidence killer because NC State, they were taking calculated risks, right? Generic reflooding in, playing off the timing. That was super effective. And it looked like, again, we saw Nami's solo swing right after that. Like, this should not have gone Baker Swarm's way, but now 4 rounds needed for OT, and I don't know, Verilight, NC State.
Up spot. They will approach this a lot more directly than we've seen in the past. I'll tell you that. They're already on the seaside looking to plant, forcing the hands of NC State, not letting them regather themselves after a round went wrong, went lost.
Joke's over.
After looking so good. They're running back. They're trying to get back on. You said that's the retake bus, but Demons found it. Revenge as well. Generic gets one, but not much after this one. And Freak from Garage is even snuffed out. Left to Just Breeds with 3. A tall order. But we saw it on the last one. Not this time around. Baker will take map 1 on Haven. 13-8.
Ooh, and I feel like group history repeats itself a little bit here. I feel like this is kind of the scoreline of the start. Map 2 was more one-sided, and then we had a close affair. We'll see if that's the case as we continue onwards. But yeah, I feel like both teams are kind of stacking up to those identities, right?
Yeah.
I feel like NC State was the one pushed early, made those growth changes to come back and make it a respectable half, and a second half as well, respectable comeback, but just not quite there on Haven.
Exactly, and you need, especially against Baker, who's been so incredibly strong at the end. You know, Cheney came to life there. You love having all of your players dialed in. Unfortunately, they got a little bit short as Baker is just one step away from being able to get their revenge. We're going to take a quick break, but again, don't go anywhere. You're watching the NECC Division I Nationals here live in San Antonio. Welcome back, everybody. We just got done with map number 1, and of course, we saw Baker take it over NC State. NC State was close, but unfortunately, you think you know who you are until the lights come on and the pressure starts to mount. And Uncommon Traits brought to you by the Army National Guard, ArmyNationalGuard.com. Zobi, again, NC State kept it close, kept themselves relevant, but at the end of the day, you're down 1 map, and now you got to reconsider things as we head into map 2.
Yeah, and we said this was a team that we know to have slow starts, whether it's going to be at land, getting the nerves out of being back in this style of environment, or whether it's, again, facing off a team that has been a close affair before. But you know then, in yourself, that you've beat a team like this before. It just happened a few weeks ago in that spring upper bracket, and that's where, again, the comeback starts now.
You got to make it happen. Absolutely. Get to your bread and butter at the end of the day and really start to march things in. So Haven didn't quite go your way if you're NC State, and that was actually their map pick. We're on Baker's map pick for the next one. So a real prime opportunity for them to be able to close out, in my opinion.
And this is the rematch map as well.
Yes, yes.
So it's one of those teams where I know with a more fleshed out coaching staff in terms of Dumbo would have a lot of fun looking into that VOD, seeing like, okay, what are we anting? Like, that's the joy of a round robin is you know your schedule like from the get-go. You know you're going to face against everyone. It's not like, oh, I don't want to prep a team that we're not going to face off against. Like,
yep.
They know what they're coming into here today.
Oh, 100%. We got to see a lot of that too. In fact, you know, NC State made the late push as well, which means, you know, it's not just Baker running away with a whole bunch of momentum, right? It's NC State really being able to fight for their lives. Sure, it's not their map choice here, but they certainly have every opportunity to be able to close out and get it going here. So again, you're looking to reset yourself. NC State, they really started to perform after they took that timeout in the first half. I think that says a lot about them regrouping. They had a chance to do that between these maps as well.
I mean, it wasn't even the timeout, right? We just talked about Cheney starting to hit so many crazy multi-kills and shots that if they started the level they ended at here coming into split is going to be a completely different ballpark. So that's one player I expect and hope to see more out of. Nuthium as well started to get those firecracker moments towards the end there, but they just ended up not having that broad enough impact either in the server. So those are 2 people I want to see step up for NC State. Let's talk about Baker and what went super well then.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you're Baker, you want to be able to get off to a hot start, which they were able to manage as well. Not to mention the pistols went in their favor too. They really did start their halves extremely well. And of course, you play off the backs of your duelists. In addition to that, Demon was all over the place. He caused that fear factor at the end of the day, having the operator, no matter what site they were on, they were able to be dynamic in a multitude of different ways. And it just sparks the team as well whenever you're able to get together and string together those back-to-back kills like we saw.
Yeah, and we got to see, I think, ladder moves as well step up a lot in those moments when Demon it felt like teetering off, right? And so I'm curious to see if other players on that team are going to pick up that slack as well as the series continues, because I don't think you can hold any one player to a standard like that 100% of the time. And I do think that's where I think Nami could definitely take some of the weight. I feel like I had high expectations for him. Again, a VSL level player that wasn't quite delivering on that secondary duelist role. Like the support was there, but wasn't flashy like a Phoenix should be.
I agree with you, and I think, you know, it's you want that balance throughout the rest of your team, and also being able to get the high upside like we saw from Ladder in those big moments. I mean, there was nothing bigger than getting that clutch because it really did silence what NC State built upon, right? They were finally trending in a space that made them nervous a bit. They were able to get within 3 rounds, which I think was the closest that they got. But that was the round that everything changed, and the closeout seemed like it was imminent.
Yeah, and again, just the momentum ways in which Baker were winning certain rounds, such a momentum killer. But gotta get back on the right track here, right, Bearlight? Because map 2 of Split in this best of 3 Group A stage match is afoot. And this is a map that's interesting to me. I feel like we shifted into the Neon, right, on this map after Waylay got nerfed, when Waylay was like a nice pairing with the Sky.
Yep.
And I feel like this is the logical reversion, is going right back to the Jet Rays, and what I was actually expecting to see in the meta. Again, it's tried, it's true, and it is here once again.
It's here for sure, and so is the Sage, as we mentioned from the ladder. Coming in, Demon's going to be on that Raze here, so that's what you can expect from the Baker side. Hijinks yet to lock in Omen, but that almost feels inevitable at this point. And Prince will obviously mirror that, as we had seen at Haven's Huge. Generic going to stick on the Cypher as well. They play very similar as far as comps go for the most part. You do open up, you know, that Sky Sage on the other side, but a Fade now coming out from Nuthium. Otherwise, it's pretty business as usual, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like for me, again, more meta composition is this Sage, right? It has flashes, it has hold potential in terms of the mid space, the rotates. On the flip side, I'm still trying to get the full effects. I'm okay with like a Cypher versus a Sage, but when you also couple that with the Fade instead of like a Vice or something that has a flash, now this side is flashless. And we talked about how already their composition had issues on Haven with like scary like zoning utility. And aside from that Raze, I think they are going to have a hard time with that. So Nuthium has to be on point, has to be as fraggy as we kind of said he was going to be in the pre-show here. And I think the Fade does a lot to a lot more individualistic playstyles at times.
Yeah, and you rely a lot on, you know, on the paranoia as well from Breed. So 2 individuals you watch very closely and being able to create a little bit of that chaos. Yeah, you get really reliant in that way. A lot of mobility, you would say, on the side of NC State. They're going to try to take that to their advantage when they're kind of missing shots, honestly, in the map 1. They did get a little bit better, granted, on the second half of that one. Might make it a little bit more difficult for them to get going, but potentially that confidence is there. Of course, it'll be Baker on the defense to kick this off here at Split as we get things going. And look for that default look across the map to try to find something. It's an early challenge there from Freak, but they weren't able to find it. It was a Nami Sheriff instead that will silence them as they win a Brams.
And after that opener, they know it was a fake out. Immediate pivot to fill some of the holes on the B side, but that's where NC State, they've always been thinkers. We saw that a lot on Haven, maybe to the point of overthinking, and simplification was their calling card. But for now, just gonna make stack on stack, fight on fight happen.
There's the paranoia we called out to you. Caught them peeking outside of that dark cover. And although they hit 2 now, they realize they'll go ropes in, swing to A, as they have the comms from the Senti to be able to set you up. Generic was able to give them the go-ahead, the green light that A is free for the taking, and that's where NC State will park themselves after planting the spike.
Backtrack through vent, make sure there's no Generic lurking in the wings like over on Haven, and this is a really nice ramp regroup from NC State. They're so counter for this.
And there you go, Guiding Light will get them in and take care of business. They did pick off 1, though, despite the circumstances. But Jinx was able to answer back with a couple of their own. Generic will make it interesting here with this 2v2. NC State's still in the driver's seat, coming back down, but Generic couldn't land 1. Neither could Nuthium. Baker coming away with this retake effort. Nicely done to take the pistol yet again.
I think I actually heard celebration from the team all the way from up here. So again, knowing how important momentum is going to be if they want to finish out this series in a 2-0 fashion. And that is a great way to get the job done. I think NECC State, we mentioned the potential of the setups to cut out the vent rotations, right? I was looking particularly at Shenny and Ivor's timing as well there, and Breeds, but it was a bit mistimed. It was like, okay, I'm flashed, I need help, and then Breeds is swinging and getting more refragged against than assisting, and then again, Generic was still also trying to get into position, and then suddenly had to reframe as well for playing a number disadvantage. It was a mess, but it's just a pistol. You can fix things after that.
It's a long way to go. Sometimes you go through the motions and it just happens automatically. You don't realize what happens to you. The barrier orb will go up here to deny, at least temporarily, try to break through via Garage. It's ladder to hold that same angle too. And whether or not that will be the look here, they haven't even peeked mid to see if it's open here, but that will be the play. They've got Demon lined up here, and if they try to challenge in close, they're going to have their hands full
Prowler.
for sure. And you also, you have this around too. So they do snip out the sky too, and that gives them the confidence to roll in the 1v1 scenario. Demon gets a couple before all is said and done here in this exchange. Revenge couldn't quite get them on the way out, but the damage has been done.
You saw it, right? The hand push, like the Prowler's coming for me. Nope, it wasn't. It was going into vents. Could have gotten the element of surprise, but still finds enough packed punch for the tag team to come through from. Baker Swarm up 2-0 pretty cleanly at that. Just not giving any opportunities either over to that forced-up outlaw, so that's going to be a little bit more than questionable of a money situation on the NC State side.
Yeah, you expect after dropping the first couple of rounds that you'll be the full buy. You see Guardian Instinct, yeah, Seeker, and plus including a half shield there from Freak too. So not exactly guaranteed, especially when Baker has been playing instantly. They want to challenge in very early, but yet again, the barrier orb will slow things down. So will the slow orb, appropriately enough, but Freak will think twice before looking to challenge in here, and it's looking like deja vu from the last round too. Baker's did a good job to really zone them out from being able to accomplish anything. Zipbot will look to find revenge. They walked past it, but because of that, it cost you the life. They were able to trade it directly back here from NC State, and we stay at even ground now.
Yeah, they now know what this crossfireman looks like, and they had a really nice dismantling of it on the NC State side. Still haven't gotten past the judge, still haven't gotten the Beast Heaven space, so the backpedaling here into main is going to rely a lot now upon Hijinks.
And Hijinks is just ready for it, yeah, they're prepared as well. The Prowler is doing some work here in the last couple of rounds. They know that where they would be coming from, essentially a couple there from the defensive spawn, and you use it to your advantage as well. That's just well executed off of one piece of utility to be able to put yourself in the driver's seat for this round. And as expected, even though it wasn't a complete and true full buy, NC State was able to take that advantage anyways and make it difficult here. I mean, not a whole lot to save for, so we'll just look to jump in, maybe find one or two pieces on the way out. A couple body counts and potentially dive into what would be NC State looking to cook things up. Wasn't able to find it. It's a three-piece from Frick, and you heard him giving it back a little bit. They're emotional to try to match that energy we heard from Baker a couple rounds ago.
It's fun when you don't have like a flash and a dive duelist, but kind of two different flavors of the dive duelist, because then it's not more supporting cast and star player like it was on Haven. Honestly, we can argue for the dynamic of both of the duelists on both sides, and I think that's what's shining here a little bit on the NC State side. So nice follow through once again. We questioned it because it was a broken buy, but again, when that power's congregated and when unfortunately the one side anchor there, Hijinks had only a ghost, it's not going to look too great. So 2-1 here. Should be a full buy now for Baker Swarm and NC State.
Walk out. Blinded.
Early flash, no orb denied though.
Nothing much else doing. As I think they just didn't want to really play this in the way they did in the last couple of rounds. So they're going to seriously said they'll rotate towards mid. Gonna be very quiet here because you're about to run into a red-hot Demon from last map as well, if they're not careful.
Yeah, Demon was on like a very committed line too, and has since backed up, is going back for seconds. Missed the gun barrel.
Dark cover. Do they challenge into this? If they do, it'll be tough. Yet again, another Prowler. They are just on us right now. I gotta shout them out for sure. The tail end though, to get them out, and they are just back and forth, keeping you at guessing back and forth. But ladder moves ready and parked down below ropes. It takes every little bit of that advantage, but could not land the four-piece, but the damage again has been done. And Generic, a tough hill to climb. Hijinks still here in heaven, and Generic wanted to swing into it.
I have
This will
retrieved
be a
the
difficult
spike.
peak for sure.
30
They'll get the
seconds left.
spike in hand, so that should allow them to plant at the end of the day. And Baker's got to figure out what it is they want to do. I'm wondering if this guy has the guiding lights, and you have the Omen too. Generic is just thinking of every possible scenario right now.
And the flank is the final solution. Oh,
Man. Let your guard down for a second, and that's what happens.
further evidence of the overthinking, possibly in the NC State camp. But yeah, again, we're seeing those, I think, transitions from defaults into side execs be a little muddy around the edges at times. For example, Generic was that player responsible for clearing out B main, but they're still in lobby, right?
Yep.
And that would have then spotted out the Nami, the ladder move stack, before it was all catastrophic as they were trying to flood out of heaven. So a difference here, it feels like, is NC State don't have the answers, they don't have the info when they're actually exiting into these spaces, unlike Haven, and that's going to be a possible problem as the map continues.
Get out of my
So
way.
what's the approach? What's the fix? They'll have eyes mid this time. They'll be a lot quicker looking to approach A as they dive onto it, and the knives will do that for you. Blade Storm out. Freak will look to swing on it and make no mistake about it. Nice reaction time to be able to get that done, but you see the defense already rotating around. Demon, the first one to open it up on that side of things. And so, although the spike has been planted, now you've got good looks both ways. NC State, they have a couple of spots there. Look to get it. Showstopper does land one. Demon getting value here. Nothing quickly after able to answer. And Generic from the distance, too, all the way to screens. And able to bring it even. Here they count 2 apiece.
Last player standing.
Now by themselves alone on an island. Great job to get the first, but not 2. Hijinks good for it, and Baker will move up to 4 rounds 1.
And that's another round that gets frustrating because Generic had perfect timing. You had the right mentality of we've lost Rams control, we've lost main control, we need to flip into screens, but they didn't quite commit to it, right? It was that backpedaling when the Sage got the opener that then they were redistributing themselves in the elbow, and then again they got overwhelmed by the tide's direction changing. And I think that's wish-washiness and coming up with a plan but not all being on the same page is where this timeout for NC State has to be coming from.
And it's I feel like it's deja vu again, and Coach Tapp's like, let's talk it over. Are we doing too much? And it's never bad to have plenty of thoughts, but to be able to kind of conjure in exactly which direction you want to go to, I think it's been a little bit of an issue. And perhaps it's because you need a little bit more intel too. Whenever you catch yourself second guessing yourself, it's because you don't know where everything is. You haven't cleared everything. You aren't getting enough value from those who should be giving you that intel. And so that's when you want to have no doubts, especially against a Baker team that knows their P's and Q's. They faced off with you before. They're out for revenge. And right now, so far, so good through 5 rounds. As they'll, again, a timeout works both ways. They'll be discussing the same thing and how they can evolve their look, although it's so far so good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they need any evolutions right now. Maybe if, like, you saw NC State starting to go like gun-ho mid, you put the Sage there instead, but with an operator introduced into the defensive arsenal, that in itself sometimes happens after timeouts and just changes the entire way the map is played, right? Ladder moves now, the A side anchor, because you have the op to fight B main alongside your Raze, and the entire squad for NC State look like they want to pull up to the party.
That's right. Well, let's check it out early. As Nami lands the first one, Freak, you only give them a little bit, but that's all they need. Able to find it, and it already won now.
And now in a 4v5, do you still want to invest the Nightfall into this exec?
That's exactly right. And their thought process, hey, let's do it. Let's catch attention, potentially, but they did not pull it. Instead, they'll keep it down in their hands. Still got neural theft, as well in addition to everything else.
I like this. Got the Showstopper online, you can backpedal, look for an isolated kill that's off position in the rotate timings, and then accelerate with the ults into a site.
That should have played it too. We'll try to chase them out. The Haunts will indicate that they're at least in that room. They got flushed, but Showstopper does land on Hijinks. So step 1 complete. Now the neural theft to get the rest. The guiding light in front of you, Revenge. You just gotta hit your shots. Eventually you do, and the second one's good too. The 3-piece that looked to swing mid, but couldn't quite fund Nuthium. But a great job to kick things off and give your team the best chance to be able to close out, but is it enough? Even the swing wasn't able to land. And now you're in trouble, but ladder moves gonna bail you out again with another big late rounds heroic, if you will, to make it 5-1.
A nice little movement operator cover. I was worried because I saw ladder moves only to Spectre in that round, and I'm like, oh no, they overswung. We're about to get a clutch from Nuthium, which is his usual trademark, and he was heating up in that moment, and yeah, just some silly events fight. And I feel like the ping-pong between Revenge and Demon has been what has set apart this defense in that mid-space and how they manage it, right? It stopped NC State from really utilizing any sort of strategy that has to do with mid-space, right? It hasn't worked out a single time. The only thing that has worked is late generic timing through that space. And as a result, direct towards A, so a 6.
And they said, how about Stingers and holding W potentially? They're going to be held out for the time being, though. So hold on to the W's here. Nightfall is going to happen right now, plus the Paranoia. Good combination here to at least open things up and give yourself a prime opportunity. All things considered, with this interesting half buy, they've done a great job to really spark things. Granted, you're up 4-2. You're able to trade out a couple weapons too. We'll see what happens.
Nami had the Blade Storm online. You would have hoped to see it, but the Outlaw still packs a punch, able to secure the first. The plant
Spike
not
planted.
be avoided.
And Nami's here on site early.
Last
They
player
want to challenge in that
standing.
dark cover. It's not going to matter when Nudium was all over that thought to begin with. And ladder moves. They've had a lot of big late rounds. They'll have to do it again, conjure something, but Fricka kept you guessing there too. He knew there were rafters as well, so your brain just kind of goes there automatically. You lose focus of the rest. It was a tough order at the end of the day in the second round here for NC State.
Yeah, it's funny. We're like, okay, NC State have won a Thrifty, and we hadn't seen them utilize mid space. What do? They just won a Thrifty off of mid space.
Yeah.
So that was a really, really, really nice round from them. And I think, again, a perfect investment of, okay, when there's a chance to win the eco, how far do you go?
Yeah.
And the Nightfall, the overwhelm there, just clearly caught really confident rotations from Baker off guard.
Yeah, exactly. If you find a little bit of momentum, especially in a round like that, where it's like, are you sure you're going to be able to pull it out with that weaponry? And you're like, all right, well, now we got the first one. Let's get this shot. Yeah, Nightfall certainly got them up towards heaven there, and they were able to just kind of execute from there on out. So finding that, and that's what you talk about in those timeouts. It's once again an example of exactly that. NC State able to find it. We have a quick tech boss, so we're going to take a second here to kind of discuss a little bit further between these two. Baker right now, early rounds one going in your favor. You do yourself favors, but here it's NC State that's starting to cook again. Baker held him off once. Can it happen again?
Yeah, NC State, again, that Thrifty is huge just for the mental, for the money. I think they're going to now have a closer half, right, than it would have been 6-1.
Yeah.
Like, it would have just given Baker way too many opportunities. Like, any small mistake would have been exploited to track towards closing this out 2-0. So I think that is a huge, huge indicator of what this series is going to hold.
Exactly, a big telltale sign, right? The measuring stick is certainly here and now. Baker's done everything they can. I think they're conjuring some of the their thoughts from whenever NC State was able to best them in that spring semester, and so they've certainly been out for it. They've been working their biggest pieces. Demon hasn't been as dynamic. To NC State's credit, they've been able to limit a little bit of the damage, but at the same time, that same balance has been available there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into the discussion of, okay, this half is more than halfway done. It's a fourth of the game. Math.
Nice math.
Thank you.
Right on the spot,
and
too, yeah.
you start thinking of, okay, compositions, are they attack or defense sided, right? I feel like the one for Baker is very middle ground. That's the benefit of having both the Sky,
Yeah.
the Info, and the Sage for the defensive capabilities,
Yeah.
and even the post-plant hold potential. On the flip side, I do want to say I think their comp is a bit more defense sided. Even if it has double duelist,
Yep.
I do think, again, with the Cypher and with the Omen
Yep.
and with the Fade, with the Seas, the amount of delay they have on the chokes is going to be very, very different from how we are seeing Baker play their defense.
Agreed,
So-
yes. Especially when the way they've been playing that Prowler as well. It's been fantastic work to be able to get that info. If you can utilize that on the defensive side with
Yep.
that Cypher util, I mean, you're talking a whole different game. I think NC State certainly would have the advantage, but it's like how long can you hold on and how many rounds can you manage in the meantime to keep it close in that instance. So NC State have every right to be in this map, and I think if all goes well, they should be able to challenge it and make it interesting in this next quarter, as you had mentioned, of this map.
All right, Bearlight. Score predictions at the half.
Oh man, for
It's
the half,
5-2 right now.
Okay.
Or so, yeah.
it is 5-2.
5-2.
Yeah. At the end of the half here, I think NC State, they've looked really good in rounds, and late, if they do one or two more things right, plus they're coming off the timeout as well. In addition to that, I do think that they take a couple more. I think they get to 4 before this half is
Ooh,
over
just
with.
4.
Yeah, just a couple.
That's actually funny because I was also thinking 8-4 in like the back
Yeah.
of my mind. I don't know why I thought that. I feel like I think like we can give them a bit more credit.
Yeah.
I feel like we can.
We're vibing.
Well, we can give them a 7-5 and then make the pistol important. But we are back to get into this quarter of Bearlight. And I think, are we going to get like upset already? Because like we didn't even get to break down the economy, right, during that timeout. Like it's an eco route for Baker Swarm, right, after that loss.
Now we got to factor that in, so that's an extra. Okay, I'll give him 5.
there's the
I'll give him
7-5,
5.
all right.
Yeah, all right.
But there's ults for Baker Swarm. There's a Blade
Hold
Storm,
on.
right, for Baker Swarm.
Oh.
Let's see.
There's so many things that we didn't consider. All right, NC State back to it. B is free for the taking here at this point in time. 5 snack there from Baker because they're on that eco. Wanted to catch them per se, and Nami was out hunting with the knives there. They had the Blade Storm out, but because they're finding nothing, how far pushed up they are at A, and plus the spike being planted, that'll also be a giveaway. Here that it will be planted B, and they'll have a 5 individual retake on their hands.
The dark side of a gamble stack. But I like that immediately we did have generic peel off as well. No guns going their way. It's just hunker down and ride out the round.
No extra time to overthink it as well for NC State. From the surface level, it feels like that's been the case. But the Blade Storm taken out early, too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not exactly what you wanted for Baker. You wanted to at least get something. I know it's an eco, but they fell extremely quick. NC State was ready for just about everything there.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of like the one-dimensional like 5 stacks towards site. Like at least have one person for info so you get a bit stricter rotation timing. So something for Baker Storm to perhaps revisit. Maybe look at NC State about how to win some thrifties. But weapons back online. That lethal op-out, and that was on Haven, has somehow reared its head here on Split, Bearlight.
Okay, welcome back to the party. We'll take that. Revenge wants to continue the trend that we've seen from Baker.
How are you going to do without a scan agent, though, is the question.
I know. This is not a Haven. This is not a Corrode. But they said we're doing the Odin anyways, all right? We want that firepower here. Walking into what will be round number 9. It's slow to try to keep them away. Heard them garage, and the comms have been collected, we'll say. As you see the movement there from defender spawn, they'll have 4 over and leave the Omen on the A site, just in case they change their minds.
It's just like Haven. Within 25 seconds, if contact is made, if there's super heavy presence, they'll give up half the side of the map.
Prowler's not able to find much. It will indicate that they're still there, but of course, they are. Ooh, the rest of the squad is coming through. Sometimes it pays to just kind of spam through, see what you can get. Nami will open up the scoring here with the operator across. And now it's a completely different vibe as they've lost everything. They have to commit at this point in time. Because of that, they lost everything. Ayla said, let's test the waters. And they found a demon instead, a revenge, and even Nami able to swing around and get a next one as well. And Baker able to answer.
Okay, they understood that, okay, the Sage util has been exhausted, it's been depleted, this is our time to go. NC State tried to go, but again, Baker Storm had the immediate numbers, and you saw both Nami and Revenge starting to peel off, but they were still on the staircase, like 1 foot still in the door, so they just close it, lock it, they're there to support, and that was really, really nice considering the util that was very oppressive towards ladder moves.
Yeah, sometimes it's decisiveness that is the issue, and this time around it was, we're going to test it, see what happens, and Baker was good for it. Giving them a 3-round lead here. Guys, waiting for the rest. Barrier still remains here. It's a little bit further back for B because they heard many, many footsteps, more than we've heard chat as well, as Rick will tailwind in, but they only got 1 back down. Showstopper has been pulled. Demon will try to blast back into it. Missed though, and because of that, you paid for it on your way back down, empty-handed. The Nightfall to really force the issue here for Baker. They don't have much of a chance. The Nightfall didn't even have to really do much because everybody's chased out anyways, and everybody else will execute. And NC State, we go back and forth here. Everybody getting a kill in that round as well for them.
Again, these big swing rounds, NC State doing just enough to stay afloat. I do like that they rinse as well and repeat like something that was just not working, just as cleaned up a little bit and see if it functions. And I will say, because it's been so back and forth, Baker Storm also cannot get that lead established. So hey, this is the 4 that we predicted, Bearlight. We need a thrifty to deny, but we added a 1 onto our counter because they started off on the Nico. So this is going to be either a Demon goes crazy with a Glass Cannon Hero Vandal, or it's going to be 5 for NC State.
I'm feeling good about it for the Wolfpack here. I think NC State have every right to be. Last time it was a little bit quicker to develop here. Instead, they're going to find Revenge though. Don't keep peeking it. No. Revenge ready for it. A clean 3-piece with a Sheriff. That is the way you wanted to open. That was as ideal situation as you can get there.
Yeah, don't pick up an Odin again. Just keep sheriffing if we're going to see plays like that. Generic, bold, confident investment of that neural theft to navigate a 2v4, but it sets Nuthium up for maybe a proper round-the-clock timing.
That's funny. They're like, hey, test yourself. Pick up a right here at this point in time. Ooh. Now Generic's turn. He'll pick up the slack on the NC State side and make it even. And now the Rusty Ace! Generic Answers back a strong early presence from Baker.
Last round
Able to
in
get
the
5 on the
half.
board this time around, and NC State is back within 1.
Why is Ladder Move swinging alone? An elbow.
That is
That's
a
the only
grand
question.
question.
That's
for
your
me,
player
yeah.
with a Vandal. Like I can maybe like be like, okay, Hijinks maybe didn't have any util, but if Hijinks did, then it's just like double shame upon you.
And your Bailey, everybody,
Exactly.
right?
And whew, all right, Baker Swarm need a change of pace, and
Now,
I think we're gonna start getting one. I feel like this is the more traditional look towards A than having a Sage play there instead of playing like one player there for retake. Is a duelist in your sky that'll get early intel, for example. And I'm surprised the Jet was B main if they were just gonna wall it. So
That's my thought too, right? And you already have your Omen chilling anyways, mid, so now you have 2 there. And no signs of anybody, no signs of life, some would say.
I kind of want them to walk down mid here, find generic early, get some flank pressure. But Baker, they're not the ones who want to proactive. That's NC State, like we saw over on Haven. So
Yeah.
it's just back and forth again. No info, no read.
I think it's something you do when you have the confidence, but NC State's kind of stolen that momentum, you know what I mean? And but how do you get it back? By being bold, being brave, being
Okay.
a menace here. Their cover will hold them off. They will go eventually mid, but they completely just dropped that thought altogether as far as that hold for Baker. Now you're thinking about where NC State might hit. They're thinking ropes. The Prowler's not going to get to Demons, so they might have their hands full. They don't know, but they're not even looking either. Hijinks did take out Generic. It was a little bit later in the round than we anticipated. And now when they swing ropes, Demons ready for you. Swing it again, why don't you?
Spike
You're going to
down
catch
A.
the tail end of yet another Phantom doing damage here in NC State in a compromised position. Spike will be down, or will be planted rather. And you have Freak here too. They see the weapon, easy one, knives pulled, almost got the combo. That would have been extremely clean off to the Blade combination. But weren't quite able to manage to land this one, but still in the driver's seat, some would say, as this spike continues to tick.
And planning for Heaven so you can just play for that main rewrap timing, and that's exactly why Nami's fighting ramp side.
And looking to capture them on their way in for
Last
sure.
player
They've got a good idea of
One
where that might be
enemy
when it
remaining.
drops. Nami was good for 1. Still time not on their side, so Nithium knows
This
the
is nothing.
play here, which is just be patient, play time. There is nothing you can do in that situation. Handcuffed, finish the 3-piece. NC State has drawn even here in this one.
Switching sides.
We're both wrong.
Yep.
8-4, 7 high, out the window.
We even
6-6.
gave them an extra one too, and they were like, yo, we're gonna go 6 instead.
And I think it's crazy the fashion in which it happened, right? Because Baker Swarm were having such explosive starts to the round, right? They were the ones finding first blood after first blood, and NC State just stabilizing off of information, right? Off the fade, off of the cipher, even in death at times. And I think I'm impressed. They know the line they need to toe in terms of how to get numbers back even, and then they completely back off, and then wait for Baker Swarm to fight into them. So, all right, let's see it. Baker Swarm, praise the well-sided nature of this composition. Let's see if we can leverage it, because NC State look locked. They look like they want to see Breeze.
Yeah, look, well, Baker, yeah, exactly. NC State's trending that way for sure. That means that Baker's looking to take 3 out of 4 pistol rounds if they can be good for it here in the first couple.
Okay.
Been really good with these rounds, being able to let it come to them, so to speak. Very chaotic. Yeah, your teammates that kind of fight through if you're generic. Still found 2. Waiting for another one too. A quick turn. Great track down 2. Almost got that 3rd.
And
Not
expected a refrag attempt.
able to.
2v2. She gets spiked down. Nithium showing patience, waiting on Brits to rotate over.
Got a whole lot of util to working through too.
Spike planted.
Dark cover. Just wait it out. Love that play. The Prowlers come into handy yet again. Able to stun them, but did they get 2 here? Very patient on the turn. They timed it right, but the shots weren't there. Brits is still going to try to get them while they're reloading. Couldn't find the shot though. Got them extremely low. And the Sage will be able to heal up. Will it be in time? By the time they challenge, Ladder was all over that. Continues their late round greatness. And Baker back on top.
I think that elbow's just cursed, right? Accidentally Brid self-paranoia's Nuthium that allows the engagement, allows time for Hijinks to get their own paranoia out, and then I love on the final 1v1 the movements were so mirrored, right? Right click, oh no, we get lines, we have to get back, we have to reload. And it just, honestly, the Sage pick, yeah, that made the difference. Topped him off, let him have that confidence to re-swing and go for another RNG moment.
Yeah, great comms, by the way. It's great that they're able to utilize that and happen. very well. Baker, another pistol. And that's exactly what they needed to have with NC State breaking in. Now you should be able to secure yet another one as long as you're able to dot your I's, cross your T's. Not sure what happened
And get back
here.
into Valorant eventually.
Yeah, you know, I guess so. So, hello everybody. We'll get you back in
We're
there shortly.
lounging.
Yes,
We're lounging
that's not what
back,
happened.
you know,
Exactly.
we're
We're
lounging.
hanging out here a little bit. We can discuss this a little bit further.
Yes,
here.
I mean, it's difficult because this is going to be I can tell you this round's going to go, right? It was 7-6. We've not really seen a second round eco.
Yeah.
We've seen some ecos, but they have been well thought out, well executed following timeouts usually. So I'm just going to say 4 people survive for Baker, and they're pretty good for the next. So we're going to be like 8-6.
I love it, the details you've got
Yeah.
on this one too. Back through.
8-6.
You think 4 survive here? NC State, they did surrender it, and they haven't really looked good, even if they win the pistol in the second round.
It was close.
Well, it's something about the second round of a half that NC State really struggles with.
Last player
think-
standing.
Wait a minute. Am I a prophet? I am a prophet, Barrelight. Look at that. I mean, there's a Bucky. A Bucky's always a wild card. But 20
yeah.
HP, I think it's going to be this 4. No! Yeah! So you guys didn't need to see the round.
Right through. I was legitimately sitting here saying I am going to go against you just for the memes, but I felt confident in what I was going to say. Never go against Toby. That is what we learned here at the end of the day. Nicely done. Well called. Baker with 4 left.
Now they keep so many weapons, right? The double Spectre, the double Bulldog. It's going to be a dangerous procession, I'd say, for NC State, and this would be a one-way ticket out of the victory here if they lose this. So, yeah, got to be locked in. We mentioned again the differences between these teams. One very default, methodical, late exits once they're certain, and also wrestling back number disadvantage. Baker, they look like they are very simplified. Look how direct this is, right? 4 into the site, an Omen in place for Paranoia ramps. Like, there's so many moving pieces, and they're all coming together for quick A confirmation.
And I know it's very early in this half, but the only thing we've been a little bit challenged on here is that NC State has very strong defensive layout, but of course it was just the pistol into the next round, so a little bit early to make that statement. On ropes is hijinks, has got 3 to their name, and I felt like the Rays they found nothing. Oh no, hijinks. That one seemed automatic. You do everything right, you got the trigger discipline, but nothing to show for it.
I don't even know. Were they the one with the multi-kill trigger discipline on Haven? I don't know. It doesn't matter right now because we've got to conclude this round where it's another trigger discipline moment that falls a ride the one way. Finding the players in the back side, and it's slice and dice. The double duelist gets the job done. NC State pull around back from what looked like it could have been disastrous.
It really was, and they had to be very surgical at the tail end of that too, and they were very much dissecting that A site as they were able to jump on prior to allowing the spike to be planted. They were just on everything else, pulling back within 1, of course. So Baker, after they get that momentum back, again, NC State denies that bonus, and able to get back within 1 here.
Yeah. Good damage, though, right?
Yep.
Judge, Sheriff, Light Shields and plenty coming out. Surprised we don't see like an Outlaw coming out from a Baker Swarm to
true.
deny this,
Oh, that's true, yeah.
to be honest. But they like how fast they got into A with less resistance. My curiosity is going to be, do they take that proactive, that risky stand? I want to see more risk at a Baker Swarm. I'm not going to lie to you. Like in these post plants.
I've been feeling like Baker hang around, chill, and with the honeybees instead
They're
of
little
going out.
buzzy bees. They're not. We need them to be like wasps.
Honeybees, yeah, exactly. They're cute and all. Just need a little bit more bite. That's what we're looking for Baker here. Show the bite on the pistol. See if the Develop's gonna get dark cover, holding a thin line between Breeds and Demon. Once it goes down, players are better than to show their hands here.
Ooh.
DM is gonna distract him here on the far side. Just a jump peek here. And Demon waits for it. The swing around though, and the yummy. With the Sheriff able to land 1 here, 2 knows the rest is here. So the barrier or allowing the resurrection to come in play, and that's who you want to pick up as Demon for this exchange here. Back even ground. So much has happened, and yet nobody down.
Oh, as a scrappy engagement, the Paranoia is a risk taken and failing for hijinks.
Continues. Oh, you don't want that. Revenge, no. You're in
Last
ropes.
player
Revenge
standing.
knows better as well, but
Spike down
you lost your
A.
buddy with the spike here too. The guiding light, because they were so sure that that's where it came from. The comms said generic was there. They picked
30
up the
seconds
spike.
left.
They let their guard down for a second, but were able to get through window before they re-engaged, which would have been round over here
20
for Baker.
seconds.
20 seconds, and not to mention low HP, so there's a real chance, but they got to be able to act fast. You got to hit your shots too. 1 down. Now that opens up the possibilities, but you're taking your time.
10 seconds
And I think
left.
they just decided to accept defeat here. and look to just grab picks instead. I thought they had a real opportunity in here, especially with the low HP. It feels like they just left one on the table.
Yeah, if they get that kill and then immediately double back to elbow, there's a chance that Brits gets the timing on Rafter so they don't get the fair fight against Freak. And then a lot of moving pieces, but I agree, it could have been if you went back towards site instead of that option where there was no time to get to B. They hold on to the rifle for an otherwise broken buy, and now Baker are just getting a bit stagnant. This is when they took the timeout. Last time was when, okay, the team caught up. I think it was 10-6 though.
Yeah, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so 8-8 here. Looks like NC State might be able to get a lead.
I like it, but this all goes back to what you're saying as well. When we talk about Baker, you want to see them take more risks. That would have been the prime opportunity to do that, and you should have your comms that everybody was low here too, but this is going to kick off pretty quickly. Freak was able to catch 2, maybe 3 of them on the way in, so that is great intel that sends the entire cavalry around, and Freak will light them up great as well. Give everybody getting in on the love. How about inside the dark cover as well? Freak is good for 3 on the way in. As Baker's eco goes, unfortunately not the way they wanted. They got one down, but it's NC State up on the lead now.
Yeah, the nightfall out there is huge, but ultimately NC State are the ones that have a tight ship over on that A side. They conditioned the first few rounds, this is very laissez-faire, that you can get out, get easily without any util, and now they are consistently denying that ramp space, reflooding into side off the nightfall. Freak as well, like you mentioned, running circles around them, and there it is finally a timeout called, time for Dumbbell to get a word in with the team, standing behind them, watching like every monitor.
Yeah, of course.
It's supposed to be so fun. But I don't know. Obviously, they cannot go A again. If they do, I don't know. But I feel like there was good identification between the last 2 rounds of what went wrong in the fix. Again, they overfixated on ramps. They stayed too long there, so they went very direct in the main site. But again, they're not getting out of that after they get on the site, right? Either the spike's not going down, or they're not getting framed up the post plant very well. Like, something's amiss. So then you need to maybe default, which right now is looking like a foreign concept to Baker, at least just for this half of split.
Kind of does, right? It's kind of the lost art, if you will, and not much. You know, you got the showstopper, you got from the shadow to be able to, you know, maybe fake one way, be able to swing around, get a plant down, and then be able to execute it, and still creativity could be at an all-time high. I feel like, again, just going through the motions has been a story that we've been following with Baker, and they let their guard down. The Wolfpack were able to find themselves in the lead now for, I believe, the first time in this entire match here at this point. A late start.
See if they can maintain it. It's a good round, right? Both teams have buys, got Showstopper, no left blades. Should be a pretty fair fight, and NC State took the fight to them beaming, because that's where we expected. Again, you've gone A so many times, burned by A so many times, you're not turning back for a minute. But that's exactly why they're doubling back into B.
Great profit. Zobi strikes again. I love it. Look at this, though. NC State wanted to challenge in mid. They heard a lot, though, so now they're going to go and have 4 on the B. I know. That's not something they want to test out. Instead, they'll test towards mid instead, and now you're left with a decision to make again for Baker. So less of that default, like you mentioned, they're not going to do that. They continuously play this continuously lead B. They think that NC State might have rotated around. They'll get the first pick. They're good for that at the very minimum. Demon on site just chased you down. I'm not sure how that showstopper landed, but it did. And you got value from it because of it. You just wanted to challenge into him anyways, but you weren't looking that way. And Jenny gets 1 back, but probably not enough here for NC State, as they're down to just 2 left. Hijinks with their 3rd, looking for the 4-piece. Revenge will take it away. Doesn't matter who. Baker will draw even yet again.
And that's what we wanted them to see from Baker, just a little bit more thought into the plan. It's like opposite issues for these 2 teams on the spectrum.
Really
and that's exactly what they did, because NC State forced them out immediately off a barrier drop. They reevaluated, they reframed, they had a nice 2-3 split, and even though the split in mid completely got obliterated, they got all the answers to guide that entry, guided the showstopper even into that kill, so they could not worry about the heaven space because of the attention draw. And again, that's what made it well-rounded. It kind of alleviated some of that pressure, so the duelists could focus on doing their job, right? Demon knocking on the door of getting to the positives, for example, and that's how 9-9 is here. But we mentioned it, consistency. One team's about to get to double digits here, Bearlight.
That's right. Polar opposite teams. It's the same trend again. You spoke to it. With NC State maybe not getting enough information themselves to be able to make proper decisions there on the attack. Meanwhile, Baker doing enough in that round.
Okay.
And we'll be up against a whole load of different ultimates for the NC State side. They got 4 on the line if they wish to utilize it here. Early. Dark cover to break out the own. whether or not they want to challenge into it. Mailroom's still held down by 3. As NC State's been throwing that look at him a couple of different times. Another dark cover just to make sure that they continue to hold on to mid, but nothing much has developed here for Baker. It looks a lot like last round for sure.
They've baited out a lot of the utility from NC State. I think that's a huge plus when you also see 4 out of 5 ultimate online. Like, it would be kind of a whole war. And it still might. Showstopper with a shotgun, Seekers, it could get messy.
That's huge. The Seekers, you just use them to be able to do just simple stuff like that. But Nami, that's not quite simple. That was a heck of a shot, but it's answered back. As NECC gets the 3-piece look, his ladder has an answer to make it very interesting. Another shot lands, but when you try to pull the res, Freak absolutely needed to get on instantly and does with the Blade Storm to make it 10-9 NC State.
Whew, I was getting flashbacks, right? Ladder moves gets a clutch, and suddenly it streamlines in the favor of Baker. And
yeah, man. Yeah.
I need to think back to how that run was going to begin with. Showstopper misses, crazy shot from Nami. I remember. Sight smoke was there, right? And again, it feels like we need to go back to basics for Baker. I was like, I need like a little 3-2-1 swing because it was like one after the other after the other. And NECC, again, we mentioned it, a master of anchoring sights despite being on the initiator.
That's right, and continue that same trend too. And we're up here like hearts are racing. You look at the players; they're dialed in, man. They don't have any worries.
I was like sitting down, like, is this
yeah,
really
I know
happening?
you got like at least a foot lower, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is getting crazy. And the way it developed, it's very much an ebb and flow. The way that you gain momentum in each individual round, and for these teams, it's been that way round for rounds. So the macro, the micro makes this such an interesting series. It's been very much a grindy one to some degree. There hasn't been that many like super flash plays, but when they happen extremely fast.
And I feel like that defines both of these teams and the results so far in NECC Spring and on the path to Nationals more than anything, right? Even up against each other. And was this the 13-4, the 13-8 from the last time they two faced?
It was the 13-8 was in that map 3. 13-8. Yep.
The 13-10 was map 3.
Oh, 13-10. Oh, you're right. You're right. It was 13-8 first. From my understanding.
But what was first? I think Pearl was later.
Pearl was the last one. It was the deciding map.
Corrode was first. It was a 13-4.
Corrode, yes.
So the fact that it's this competitive after a very one-sided 13-4 affair already speaks to the growth of these teams.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. As we continue on, we do have a bit of a tech pause here as they look to figure things out as well, but we got it.
They figured things
up
out.
And going. I mean, that's how quick this team is. Didn't I mention that we love our partners here? Rally Cry and the rest of the gang that has joined us. Beautiful San Antonio. You're at the Boeing Center of Techport, working their magic super quick to get things back online. They've been great already, and it's just day one. Obviously, a couple more days of greatness, just like we've seen in the series. We dial back in a hurry as Baker Swarm have worked their way to the top of mid. Freed's gonna make them second guess themselves, and of course, they have a decision to make. They left that spike just so they could do that. Nami with the Blade Storm, by the way, so something to watch out for the rest of this round.
Yeah, I feel like they were definitely barked up the right tree in terms of addressing the mid spikes and utilizing it, but now we're going to the same cycle of starting mid, using mid, and that's where you can frame plans around it like Shenny with a judge.
And just waiting for the right moment. And if it did happen, it would have been fantastic for them.
Ooh, this is interesting. Instead, getting Nami with the blades deposited to cut off rotates and a backstab through vents once you get this A main regroup.
And that's what's in store. Nami has it held down.
Oh, he got antsy.
He did. Wants some. Getting a little hungry. Freak across the way, and then when they let their guard down, you miss though? They get the knives back, but only temporarily. But listen, all the rest of everything that was developing was happening all the way across the map. That's 3 kills from Freak. They're just at the top. Hey, let's make it 4. And
Let's make it an
close it up. Of course.
Oh, they're on site out in the open. FaZe prowling for the Cypher. Maybe still.
They gotta let him, right? It's
Set him up.
a game you can't. Oh, it happens! Second ace of the map. This time it goes to Freak with an operator, no less. And NC State will be up to 11 rounds with another big pop-off moment.
I love how you can go entire stages with aces and then we're just like, to this map, yeah, no biggie. And what I've learned is that all 4 of the duelists in the server, both sides, can op.
Yes.
We have seen each of them have their individual pop-off moments with it, and that is enough. Now, down 9-11, instead of being like, okay, we're trying to get to overtime, that the second time out for Baker comes through.
Yeah, and at this point in time, the last thing you wanted to do, especially when you get to your map pick after winning NC State's map pick, is to surrender it. So, that being said, obviously they're super close. They just want to make sure that they can gather themselves. They know they can get it done. Is this a mentality thing? Is this a strategy thing? Baker, you said they didn't have to make adjustments earlier because of how well it's going. Now is the time to look to figure it out and maybe use NC State's, nature against them to some degree. We'll see what they come up with here in the comms.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the calling for Baker has just been very, very straightforward, very predictable. I feel like that's what NC State is best at, is reading the situation and adjusting. And I feel like if the scores were reversed, like 11-9, like I feel like the coach just gives them a plan or two and they execute those well. And they probably would win those rounds just off of firepower alone. But now you have to fix the issues because you need probably 3 in a row because it's an eco. So NC State would be on map point.
Yeah.
And it works.
And plus you got this guy named Freak, and he is a freak of nature with this operator. And right now, coming off the ace, coming off the buzzing, and even the momentum, quieter too. Coming off the ace, they could be just like buzzing. Maybe you want to kill that potential for momentum as well. It's part of their plan potentially. Prowler will find one to give them something. They've really been targeting this mid to occupy that space. The C's to try to keep them in place, as is tradition the last couple of rounds. And developing slowly as they're going to peek ropes and see the potential for the A-hit. It's just one trap wire between them and site, plus, of course, that is also holding that corner should they decide to go this round. And leaving NC State kind of just scratching their heads as far as which way they do want to go. It's a chosen route through this heaven spot here. Breed's gonna watch them roll through. Okay, I'll pick you up on that one. 1, 2, almost got 3. Hey, leave it for Nuthium to take care of business on the rest. Breeze was good for another, and instantly NC State up to map point.
These are bees, right? That was like a fly going on by, and Breeze is like, was out? Did I just hear that in the side of my ear? Then turns and full stop anchors off of, again, well-placed Nuthium Fade utility. Yep. And that, whereas it goes back to Baker, like, NC State a while ago made the adjustment to have a tighter hold on mid space, and Baker is still going mid, and it's kind of mid. And so, again, we needed something different that now has preyed off that conditioning, and
yep.
Bring them down.
Of course. Going mid again. Predictability is a huge thing. You called it out. And NC State has not been fooled. They are happy enough to just be able to play patiently during these rounds. Like that dark cover, for example, is not going to do much, especially when you're on your back, because Revenge Head put you there. And we'll pick, hey, you're going to need that spike if you're going to go through sewers. Let's backtrack and grab that.
Yep, no from the shadows, but a great opener. It's huge, and it is a very retake central setup for NC State. They don't have the ults to do it anymore. Or they're going to beat them to the punch off of Spike Cam.
If Baker had moved a little bit quicker, but they don't want to show their hands, that would have been ideal. Because you see the Cypher utility was holding out from that mid look that they got so many times. You're running to generic. Oh no, not again for Baker. It's looking more and more possible. Looking more and more like we are going to have it. Sure enough, there it is. Generic with the 3-piece to close it out. 13-9 the final here as NC State will force a map number 3.
And repeat history of that map 3 between these two teams rearing its head. It was like, a switch was flipped. We got to see, again, really well-timed rotations out of NC State. And they delivered on what I promised on Haven, which was players that are able to anchor their sites. Like, it's the return of the site senti, let's go. And that's exactly what we just saw. And I feel like they were more well-oiled in their trades and their back and forths, right? Even down to how we just saw Nuthium and Generic navigate that A-side anchor together.
That's right, absolutely. And you surrender 1 here for Baker as well, so all did not quite go the way that they wanted to. But this isn't the finish at the end of the day. It's just the beginning. Army National Guard, Uncommon is calling. And so is map number 3. We're going to take a quick break as we gear things up, but don't go anywhere. Again, you're watching NECC here live at the Forge Scholastic Esports Championships. Welcome back to the NECC Nationals here live at the Forge Scholastic Esports Championships. We're excited to state that NC State has continued their way to force in map number 3 against Baker after their big performance and win and close out there at Split Zobi. We're in for a great time here in map number 3.
We are. Baker has already gotten burned once by NC State University. That was in spring NECC, which they locked them into the lower bracket run, where they unfortunately did fall short. So revenge on the mind here already in the group stage, and it would set up a great little playoffs later on. I'm just saying, but. All in all, I think this is series delivering as we expected it to be a 3-mapper where it's growth versus consistency, and now it's going to be a matter of who makes less mistakes.
It has been a minute since I've seen Breeze come out here Locked In Loaded, obviously being joined into the map pool relatively recently, rejoining here, and what will play out on map number 3. Last time we saw map number 3 between these two, it was a 13-10, so that might just be a sign of things to come as we begin things. Not much has changed, by the way, for Breeze as far as the agents that you will be utilized here. Viper, a viable option, and you already see Generic being able to lock that in here. And Vercini going to the Phoenix this time around. We saw them on Haven. Nami already on the Clove as well. I love that pick here, to be honest. We'll see who the rest kind of follows suit. Ladder, I expect to lock in there for Viper as well, based on their previous agent selections here too. So we'll see if the rest follow suit as well. As we get things going here momentarily, Demon right back on that Jet as we anticipated. Also, as we look through everything, revenge on that Sova also.
I don't know. I was here for, I think, Freak and Shani kind of swapping roles in terms of the Jet for Split. It makes sense, but then now putting them on the Phoenix and Freak on the Jet, it's now back where it's why didn't you just run that on Haven? I don't know. Anyways, I'm excited to see, I think, the ISO more than anything. I feel like I haven't seen it on Breeze in the current meta as much. I will say this team was very flash-centric, so then to be without flashes is always a backwards worry of mine, and I think this is the first time where it's oh wow, their util to me is scarier than their util, but I also, maybe this is a sink or swim for Nami as well. Nami's been the quietest, I would say, on that Baker squad, and this is one of those where okay, if I just try hard enough, I put myself in enough fights, then I will get the kills eventually, kind of
especially
momentum.
If you draw up a contract, then you got
Sign
some screen
with blood
time.
on the dotted line.
Hard to go unnoticed when you are front center in those engagements. I like that. Yeah, get yourself noticed right off the rip here. Love to see that happen. All right, Baker starting off on the defense here, and to see if they can have NC State kind of play into what they're looking to do and accomplish. Of course, the Viper, the defense more so geared towards mid versus the attacking side with NC State. It used to be that split that A site right in half. So whether or not the times have changed, we'll see round after round. But for now, it's looking like a heavy B push to begin things off.
Yeah, ladder move's gonna be under a lot of pressure. Snake bite out and disrespected. That's why you don't disrespect it.
I'll stay.
That's why you don't disrespect it.
You gotta respect it.
Enemy remaining.
How about Demon as well? Opening that up as well. Everywhere they go, they find just a Sheriff. Demon good for 2. And the rest of the team, a flawless round to kick things off. We already said Baker is extremely strong in the pistol round. That is now absolutely reinforced.
Absolutely the case, and this is one of those hot takes, too early to call kind of moments, but down to just the way that we just saw Demon and Nami take late space together, this I think is going to fix some of their coordination. I just made a new word.
That was awesome.
Coordination and synchronization is doubling down on each other because you can just bait your ISO who has the shield up, and then they'll both survive. It's great.
It's a great combination.
Yeah.
And you know what? I called ISO Clove earlier, so I'm feeling real bad about myself. But listen,
they're both purpley, it's understandable.
The same vibe.
They both have their own realm that they can go to.
Nobody's harder on myself than me. So I'm still gonna be thinking about it. But listen, Baker, thinking about how they took that pistol and how they're about to take this second round too. Unless NC State can play a little bit of spoilers here. They right now have good looks. The Viper wall has this tradition for the attack now placed on A should they decide to go this way. They also have eyes on it too with the Jet holding out in Cape.
Really nice drone as well. Up elbow confirms the B side lean. And keeps Demon
Spike
on the
down,
line in mid. Talked about that toxic screen time. It can be lethal both ways. Conditioned and dropped, and you're going to the grave. Following suit, one after another out of bullets, this time with no upgrade to sport. Demon goes to the
One
pistol.
enemy remaining.
Okay, they know where Chenny is. Oh, upgrade's handy for the time being. This is where you don't want to give ones away. They
30
found
seconds
set
left.
upgrade back site.
Yeah. And it's very much there for the taking
They don't
as well if you wanted it. Yeah.
If they somehow go, okay, they have 20 seconds.
They are just they're having a good time here.
If they
chilling.
had more time, I would have loved the strategy. Just like pause the timer, like let me go all the way through A and like flank them.
Instead, it's a little like a towards like, oh, this is
10
where the
seconds
defenders
left.
spawn from, all right? And there's a good look at where they won't be touching, which is the spike here at this point in time. 4 seconds left and running out of it. So,
Oh.
all right, one, but oh, imagine. Was caught out from both sides. The curveball, okay, it landed one, but like you're not gonna get that. And Baker up 2-0 as expected.
That's the most damage though that I think NC State have been able to do in a second round.
That's fair.
Eco.
Yeah.
So again, for longevity, for them taking so many weapons off of NC State, like that's kind of what Baker would do, right? They haven't done anything flashy like winning a third round eco, but they would beat you down enough on the third round bye that again you could play consistently while they were building that substantial start lead, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like we're following that same trend for the time being. I could see Shenny and the run it back being that extra life that keeps weapons in the side of NC State's hands, but we'll see if they lean into it.
Absolutely. You don't have much other util to give you that intel as well. It showed up here as hijinks from across the way.
Very trapping.
Exactly right. And once you peek your head, Demon's got a good line of sight and a cloud burst, one-way temporary solution here, but all things said and done, Michael walks up and you're right behind him before they anticipated. Good idea. Not only do you get the kill, but it was just to run it back as well. So you get your life, a free kill to some degree. Obviously, you had to position yourself very well, and Braid's able to follow up and suit on this one. And their weapons paying off here as Baker now have a long way to go here this one, especially the way NC State was able to flawlessly set up here.
I didn't have much left in the tank after how the last round went, and don't have much left in either. Hijinks is though here in the moment. Got right back on teammate, finds an upgrade. This is looking closer, but time's their enemy.
That's exactly right.
One
Gotta be
enemy
able to
remaining.
move pretty quickly, but you run into Generic with 2 back-to-back, and the thought was there, the execution, not as much, but
Now it's like, is it a Baker strength to get a bunch of weapons off the ecos of the bonuses of the buys of NC State, or is it just NC State having difficulties? Like only 2 players walk away with guns there, and I think like it was Guardian and Spectre were the best weapons on the Baker Swarm side. Like that's why NC State have such slow starts on these maps. Is that round you should have had 4 minimum walking away out of that round. That post plant was so cleanly executed and set up. Off the run it back again. He gave the space, this plant, the spike, everything. And that's something I'm gonna be looking to now with the rifles in hand. And again, Bree's economy can be unforgiving.
everything you said, extremely accurate, but wait until NC State gets cooking. All right. Imagine if they actually did start these maps off hot. I mean, they would be nearly
Crazy.
unbeatable. Right.
And the lack of mid space, you see the heavy mid door lean. They're gonna run interference on this rotate, this pivot back towards B. Demon doesn't go for the updraft, just the crossfire, silent but deadly. And this is gonna be again contact and delay, shock darts, snake bite, all the works on this B main choke. And ping has come out. Again, it's gonna be can the Baker Swarm anchors buy enough time for rotates and defenses start to hunker down.
And that was the thought process too. Got a whole bunch, not just one wall. You hit the Blaze Viper Toxin Screen in addition to it to try to break through. It's chaining into there, but the Blaze Storm was good for 1. NC State's been hanging with them shot for shot, but Demon's got other ideas and taking advantage of 1 miss. Almost got the next one too. Hijinks able to clean up the loose change, as it were. It'll be a 3-1 advantage now here for Baker.
Knew it was going to be battle series-wise, but now map round-wise as well. Down to the wire there. That's what we thought Hijinks was possibly going to be capable of with the Guardian in the previous round, but look at this. Operator online for Demon early on. Demon's 9-3, right? We talked about it like not as minty fresh in map 2, but map 3 definitely is here. Screamin' says, let's get this show started. Sheriff's full for NC State. A really is the only place you can go with the Sheriffs other than mid-door, but that's where the Opera is. And again, I like how they've been just consistently using this vulnerability early on to keep this space. Nami ready at the contact point. Hijinks for the backup. So again, the coordination looks cleaner so far on this defensive side.
And to continue that, next step in the process, they've got Kerbal out, but they've also got good, strong looks here from Baker. And a deterrent as they aim to maybe inch their way back and slowly work their way towards that B side too. Cut that in half. Dark cover to.
Don't know about the other.
Yes, exactly. Even found the right spot. They're still going to challenge into it as well. That decision very much not advised. Still challenged into it. The Sheriff will take it out, but I still don't really like that. Nami gets one as well. It almost felt like NC State is giving it up. Everything they looked at against Baker just goes awry here at this point in time. Freak, though, does get the operator. We'll take out one from Demon. He says, thank you very much. At least we'll get one back. I didn't like the start, but I guess it's how you finish. We'll see if they can find a way through this one. Not quite. Nami will finish it off 4-1.
And that's a round where you like side by side that with one where they were making so many overswing mistakes, 1v1s in Splitter Haven, and it's night and day. They didn't underestimate the eco round up against Freak after that Vandal went their way. It was Snakebite, it was Drone, it was waiting to set Nami up. And even before that, right, Hydra had a really nice hold there for Nami on main. So they're communicating, they're linking together like puzzle pieces. The picture is starting to form with a similarly dominant half. Hey, at 4-1, we made Preds last time, or right around now, about what the score was going to end at for the half.
Yeah, exactly. Do we go back to it?
Do we go back to it?
Let's think about it here. I can
7-5. Give us 8-4,
honestly,
and then 6-6, and then I'll go in the middle.
I think it's 6-6 again, because every time that we underestimate NC State, they find a way.
I feel like that's their motto, like for the season at this point.
Gotta be, yeah. Know your identity, you know? They've been doing that. I love that.
Toxin screen down.
All right. Ladder moves. Knows what his identity is. It's to hold down this site. Has been doing really good on that delay aspect. Did on the pistol. Has bought time for the rotations to come over. This is a little bit different this time because instead of having a super, super strong mid-door hold, you have the op staring down the mid-sight line that can also pivot elbow. You have the ISO tucked away on the cross. And A side, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty weak here. It's very retake-esque, and they don't have the ults to really back that up.
Not this time around. Yep. They'll have to do a little bit more work to be able to earn those. Well, Drone will locate them, so where that corner Freak's going to use this time to reposition wisely, so. And NC State making the right choice here, not making a whole lot of noise, but because of this movement, they will have a pretty clean, plain and simple spike planted here. And Freak down to 7 HP before that exchange was complete here too. Vulnerable, but not when you're being chased down. And Cloud Bursts were keeping them out of harm's way for the time being. A Viper Pit up as well here for NC State. They knew how important this round is, so they commit a lot to this, and they still have their work cut out for them. It's a 4v5 scenario, make it 3v5, still Pit up. They'll have to break through it once, but then that's exactly how you take care of it. It's generic for 2 as well. NC State has held off the swarm.
Last player standing.
And able to get a 3-piece though is Nami to make it interesting in this 1v1, but we'll run out of time ultimately. Try to catch them on the way out. Will they get out with their lives? They will. And NC State, though, regardless, are able to win that round. Committed a lot to it, though, and didn't have a lot left alive, so their eco is not going to be thriving exactly here, but it's exactly what she needed. Otherwise, Baker might have ended up running away a little bit, at least in this first half.
Okay. The 7-5s and the 6-6s are looking good so far, barely.
Every time.
Every time.
They inch back.
And every time it's, again, been back and forth. I feel like NC State are getting their footing a bit earlier this time, I will say, than the previous 2 maps. So again, an indication of how close this is going to be. Buzzer to finish. Ladder moves. This feels like a fake, but then they're already applying pressure B. It might not work, especially when the trades are there.
Find enough. The hot hands to, I mean, chase them out, but again, there wasn't much on the other side of that, so they got basically nothing. That throw, not netting a whole lot, essentially. And Jenny didn't find that one, didn't land that one either. And, of course, you see Freak just being able to open up opportunities with this mid look and peek. Still 2 holding on the B site. and they haven't done much progress, especially when you consider there's 55 seconds left in this round, and don't even know that two are around the corner, that Revenge is here. And when this dark cover comes down, this is going to be the thing that sparks it all. Prince is good for the trade at the very minimum. Now Hunter's Fury and ladder moves cannot move around it. You're out of options there. You're pinned in. A perfect spot to catch them in as far as Hunter's Fury is concerned, but you got Demon looking them down. Chinny, good for the back-to-back piece, and we'll make it a 3-piece at this point in time. NC State back within one.
It's a battle of the brawlers. Spike play might have been denied at the buzzer beater, but the round catch-up won't. And back our Swarm taking a more proactive timeout this time around. Up still 4-3, but again, money resets. You're trapped in the cyclic nature, and we know they like their big guns, their Odins, and their Ops. And we'll say that round, it was very, very back and forth. Again, Demon says, I'll do it myself. And Shenny comes in. It's like, whew, they are truly defining this series.
They certainly are. This timeout, of course, brought to you by the Army National Guard. The Army National Guard creates a unique blend of civilian life and military service, aiming to attract individuals who want to serve their community and country while pursuing personal career or educational goals as well. The uncommon is calling, and calling the rest of this crew up is, of course, this Baker side trying to hold off, NC State. How many times have we said this? Every single map, every time these two take place, these two teams clash, it always seems to be this way. And Baker, an early timeout worked for them in map 1, and that's why I'm liking this here, to make sure NC State doesn't really inch their way back over time. You
saw Dumbbell there leaning in, trying to drill in the plan, the idea. And I will say, Baker Swarm, they look like they have a deeper strat book on this map. It's not as one-dimensional, but I feel like we can say that about most of their defenses. It's the attack that they have issues on. And did they start defense every map, now that I think about it?
It's been the same every single time. I'm thinking back to Haven at that point,
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe they have attack issues. So again, they want as many rounds as possible here and now. And look at this eco walk down. 4 players into elbow. Very defensive positioning, so NC State are prepared to handle this.
Yeah, exactly. Brits my way, they have their hands full, and they do. Demon looking like one. That Shara pulled, and just Jenny want to play into it. They know that they, like, oh yeah, I still got the higher weapon too. I mean, I'd say so. Freak was ready for that exchange, and with the outlaw will bring us even. And back to square one, we'll say.
Nice start. Surprised they don't prop the wall, because long sight lines on Brazen and Outlaw. No safe passage now, found to the A site. It will just be Hijinks here, solo anchoring now. Little cross kind of set up with ladder moves.
Yeah, they should find him if they play their cards right. Hijinks being patient here too.
Good recall star. You cannot refight this. You have to play the numbers. Wait for the 3v3.
Gotta be patient.
Get the guns.
That would be a start.
I mean, that Vandal's gonna go a long way from the opening kill of the round.
Exactly.
Revenge gets the party.
There you go. We got Spike planted. Ready. They got the hold too. This will be a nice look for NC State. As Baker coming off the timeout looking to find something. Here they need to be able to win that battle. Revenge now knows Generic is there. It's not going to be enough to swing things here either. Hello. And now Curveball out in hand and ready for being able to swing into. But the Astra's so close with this Outlaw too. The flash, did it catch one? They know. He's got ladder right around that corner. The Sheriff takes away one. NC State, they walk away with the round 1, but Baker, at the end of the day, able to do some damage there to NC State in the process.
And that's what's so frustrating, is that 2v3 was going so well for Baker Swarm, and it could have been a 3v3, right? You saw as soon as Revenge falls on that flank fight, Gravwell, stun.
That's right.
It needs to be Gravwell, stun, swing, not the other way around. And that's been a consistent kind of issue that creeps up across the series.
Yeah, exactly. Just like NC State does. Every single time. 4 ultimates online, by the way, for Baker. Will they be able to utilize it here? Obviously waiting for a retake for the Cosmic Divide, but when we talk about the rest of the kill contract, we wanted to see Nami live and in action. And will they be able to catch NC State here as they line up 4B? And Viper across the way as well. Drone will locate one. There's Revenge. We found you.
There they are.
And so repositioning in order to, it's got Demon right behind here too, and you can see what's about to develop here.
FF Free continues scaling. It'll be an op on the other side. A backup from Revenge as well.
Whether or not they go in, it's a matter of time. Seems inevitable. Good peek. But Demon very active, but back out, and that's what mobility will do for you for sure. Still time ticking down. Under a minute left, 48 seconds left. So need to make a decision at some point, and B seems to be the way they're leaning.
Yeah, the stack is here now. Op is here now. You really need like a side smoke or something close to shut down this op from the wall line, and even that might not let them clear the corner from ladder moves.
Joke's over! You're
Yeah,
dead!
backward.
Exactly. Run it back if you have to, and you sure will. You found the right spot. But because of that, hello? That back and forth was unbelievable.
Spike planted.
NC State answered back and used that. If you're going to use the run it back, you got to be able to locate them. That's step one. Step two is being able to get those back-to-back picks, which they found. And now with the spike planted, get to force Baker into a very tough decision to be made here, especially when you're going to fall. Nami gets one back for it. Nuthium good for 3 as they clean up everything else. NC State, they just waited and waited, played the patient game, and when Baker tried to jump at them, they were able to just mow him down one after another.
I'm wondering if like what could have changed to remedy that situation. Maybe ladder move's not playing as committed of a position one and done when you in that Phoenix ult didn't come on like in the middle of the round, like where you can like lose track of the information in the chaos. I was there from the get-go. And on the other side of that, the smoke was good from the wall side. We had talked about that, trying to get shut down the operator, the line of sight for Demon, but it's exactly why Baker Swarm took the timeout when they did the 4-3. They knew that NC State was coming, creeping up. And then 6-6 is looking skewed in the opposite direction. If Baker doesn't have something to say about it.
I was almost sure that was going to get to. Like, they were lined up where that headshot was almost inevitable, it felt like. For Baker, how much longer can you hold on to these ultimates at this point? It's an obvious question going through a lot of people's heads right now. Quite landed
This
here.
is a great route to use them if you can get, say, one more, then you like dump them all in. The issue then becomes like, how confident is Nami with a suboptimal weapon to take someone into the kill contract?
That's right. I feel it. I feel the vibe. You got to keep positive here. All right. NC State's won quite a few rounds in a row. Won the rest too. They're just going to play behind here. Cloudburst is going to be formulating towards this A-site push. The dash on his side. Hijinks, they know where they are. Just waiting for that turn. Got a little bit distracted, not enough to not hit the first one. Hunter's Fury to try to track them down from where they left off. But the guessing from where they were was actually wrong. Revenge wasn't able to tag one. Nothing off of that ultimate. I said you should use him and potentially get that information. Unfortunately, this time around, it did not play that role. Kill contract. Wasted, didn't get him. And that's what happens when you play this guessing game.
Yeah, no information, and now you're left with a backstab in the brewing generic. The lurk player from afar has returned.
And Snakebite trying to get things going and moving for him with potential, but generic finish off a 3-piece and looking for 4, looking for more, but Nami's will deny there. One-on-one. Shockbolt, get them off of this one. Nami did not feel the effects of this one, too, trying to fake them. Playing time, Nuthium. Oh, hello, what?
He's at 30 HP.
He's going for it. And he knew exactly where they were too. Gotta be able to play this one. Playing time, Nuthium is in their heads right now. Plain and simple. That's how it felt to me. I think they've really gotten to Nami. Unfortunate round for them for sure.
I feel like Nuthium has just like vindicated my belief that they were clutch player. I was doubting my calling of them and like my memory for a second of their NECC performance prior in Division 1, and then he's like, okay, don't worry. We saw it on Split, we're seeing it here. Like that feels like what breaks the camel's back for this half for Baker Swarm.
Yeah, never doubt yourself, and here's why. It's already at 6 rounds and you only played 10. We said they were good for 6. They're probably going to be good for more. And also, I want to say, you talked about how Demon you can't just rely on one player, and right now it feels like they're relying way too much on your Jet here. Yes, you want them to get picks, but Demon has just been relied on time and time again. And it looks great for the stat line, but as far as winning these maps, something's got to change. And we'll see what they can do here. Now, they're going to look to find a little bit more here on B. NC State, to the contrary of Baker, have really improved themselves on getting intel. That was actually their problem in map number 1, and that's completely changed here. And now Baker maybe caught some of that contagious nature. Is the Owl drone try to find something? Demon in. Oh, that was a quick one. Nice reaction there and tail winning. Just to make sure that you got it secured and out with your life, and we'll have advantage for the rest of this round temporarily.
Okay. 5v4. Opening kill goes Baker's way, but the beast set control was that backdoor option that's now been stripped down to the core. Backpedaling, chaotic. NC State have to react in the moment, and Generic
30
is
seconds
leading the
left.
charge. Hijinks. I feel like this is a calculated risk that I'm okay with. We asked Baker for risks.
Yep.
Taking a 5v3 contact with one player is good. Just don't double down on it.
Exactly right. But Hijinks did not
Demon needs to survive.
react.
Don't overswing.
Typically, they're very good for it. And almost had it.
It's a good
10
time delay. 10
seconds left.
seconds.
It was, yeah. And the way that they had to react and so much was happening, I thought they did a good job regardless of making that happen. So Viper Spit, though, will make things insanely
Complicated.
interesting. Yes, it will. Still have the advantage here. Perfect shot target. Felt like. Never mind. I was wrong.
One
Hey,
enemy
why not a
remaining.
pit for pit?
Last player
We got a pit
standing.
battle, a Venn diagram of pits happening right now, but one will fall as Baker Swarm had the advantage. And sometimes you just got to match poison with poison. I was going to say fire with fire, but there you go.
There's only one Phoenix on one team this time. Sorry, Barley. But
I know.
again, that's a round that should not have come down to a 1v1 for Baker.
I
Last
agree.
round
And this time
in
in
the
Baker's
half.
favor. Like, that's the issue. It's like, I'm like, okay, Hijinks gonna get riskier, right? Even a 4v2 would have been great. But then it's like the coordination of the remaining players is a bit askew in those late round retake moments. And glad to see that they at least we got that one because 5-6. Hey, you're gonna get that 6-6 right. Oh my gosh. If NC State, I didn't say which team would be 7-5. I just said A7-5.
You're right, actually.
Uh-huh.
I said 6-6, I'm pretty sure, right? No.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Who am I? Yeah, they invested a lot in that operator, and you're seeing exactly why. They had 0 creds.
I
left,
love
by
the
way.
judge close on the side
Oh.
smoke too, because usually they've been scaling really quickly to punish it, and this round is no exception. As long as that smoke doesn't fade, get the judge back out. Thank you.
And revenge.
Toxin screen down.
Using the
Oh,
Guardian, no, let's put to let that lands. And because of that, let your guard down. Generic having trouble, but did get one at least. Now with the spike being planted and the rest, a little bit of distance. Actually, they closed the gap completely. Nami with the contingency plan, and that's very much
It's a flash.
feels like it here. Yeah.
Player standing.
Oh my goodness, got to be able to land that one too. Run it back for ladder moves, but it feels like a technicality. Down they'll go. NC State 7-5 is how they'll end this half.
Nasty off angle there from Nuthium to cap off the
Switching
half,
sides.
but that's difficult because I liked the wall from the ISO. It was great for scaling to try and take the 1v1 up against Nuthium or the 2v1 since they were backed by their teammate, but that perfect run it back timing from Shenny and that curveball through it is
Yeah.
lethal and unaccounted for. Again, I feel like we don't get much Phoenix ISO overlap in the current meta, and we're starting to see some of the
That's
takeaways
true.
from it.
That's true. It's a fun one, by the way. It's you know, it can be a little bit quick running, and certainly the run it back has found its place here. I love the Phoenix play, just as a he plays it myself. But listen, Generic, 15 on the board here for NC State. They've been, you know, the one small weaknesses are pistol rounds, round 2 of a half, as well as some engagements in some gunfights. They were a little bit shaky earlier on, especially in map 1 has cleaned up ever since. Now, curveball won't do much, and the hot hands to heal them on the way out. To rotate A, because that's where they thought they were. They made a little bit of noise in that util up, so that's why they baited 3 in for NC State. Baker perfectly done, but their problem here has been their decision in quickly moving towards the other side. The rotation is inevitable, but they've got Freak here. And the perfect spot. Wasn't able to land one, though. And opening the door for him. And continue with it, and they're just playing together for one another. But will they be the Hornets versus the Honeybees that we've seen before? Generic from that distance on the backside. But Hijinks pulls out the Ghost and able to hunt them from a
Spike planted.
distance. Nami will continue on as well, and Baker once again in the prime spot in the driver's seat in another pistol round.
Pistol party. 4v3.
Revealing area.
See, they brought enough cake, but get his throw from NCSU. One step at a time. Dart out. Scale out together. And I think time's gonna be their main enemy. This crossfire, man, looks lethal too.
Shot down.
Gotta bring enough cake for everyone. So not everybody's gonna get a kill here in this round, but it looks pretty good so far. But hold that thought. Good swing.
I like the timing for revenge. Just needs to survive. Or let ladder moves. Do ladder moves things.
Yeah, it's like early in the round, or do you do the ladder? It's always the ladder. The ladder end of every single round. You see what I did there?
Yeah, ladder does ladder.
Ladder is the ladder.
Oh, okay, fair. They're definitely climbing their way back up. Looks 1 round away from tying us up 7-7.
You're hearing me here, and I love that about you. All right.
So we have the name ladder, and then we put a ladder and the
Ladder.
Yeah,
It's cool.
Here. It's a good name.
Love English. All right, by the way. NC State up to 7 rounds. Higher than I thought when they started off 4-1 against. So, what a turnaround by NC State. No timeout by Baker either, I don't think.
They took one at
that was
4,
earlier?
yeah.
4-3? Yeah, when NC State got it back, so.
But none from NC
How far in the
State.
second half, though? Oh, yeah, true.
That's a new one for them, actually, because they bounced back at actually, Baker Smart probably took the timeout on their behalf. When they would have been about to take one. But all in all, that leads to here. And now, Demon.
Yep, that's what I figured.
Opener. They're expecting the productivity from NC State after what we were seeing on, Haven. Say it was less so on Split. I don't think we really thought their team too heavily commit. No mid rescaling, no nothing.
No.
Nothing like what we're seeing here on Breeze, but one thing is for certain. Baker Swarm on the A site. And in back site.
Yeah. Spot. Exactly where you want to be. Pretty clinical. Pretty by the book. You would say here as NC State's parks themselves here, but a lot of activity happening here, and all I need is a pixel to be able to see it if you're Demon to take out yet another one and look for more.
Ooh.
Generic, I think. They might have peeked him a little bit. I mean, they're just going to play on the other side of this one.
This is a data spike angle.
Yep.
They're not moving at all.
Playing a little bit of chicken on this A site here.
How do I feel about the Hero Vandal going looking for these kills, but it does get some ticks on the kill contract. You should be able to get out through mid-door by baiting the Sheriff in front of you. And Baker Swarm, flawless second round. And I do want to comment on this a little bit. I want to confirm to see exactly what they're carrying over, but yeah, double Vandal. Think about it.
Yeah.
Even when they had a Guardian and a Spectre, they got it down to 2 players on the NC State buy round surviving. Like, this I think is them recognizing like, hey, we're getting really close. We just need that extra edge, and this is a gamble worth taking.
Yes, exactly. We talked about this. Gambles from Baker. We want to see more of it. We want to see the Swarm.
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, what better time to do it than the deciding map here at Breeze 7-7. What a treat we've had to kick off the first match we've seen on stream of the NECC Division 1 Nationals here live. Orange Demon is in a hurry, but Freak tracked him easily. They're still going to play off of this, and that's going to be their own funeral, because Freak is good for 3. Can't chase into it, make it 4. What a round from Freak. And now just looking for one more, waiting for the dark cover to fall to try to secure it as one last checkbox here in the column for NC State for a great bounce back after having a flawless against. That is going to be the ultimate goal here to try and track them down, but they got a long way to go if they want to secure it, as they had tucked into elbow for safety reasons, some would say.
And you can see they're trying to let Freak go looking, but they need to maintain spike control, and Revenge is going all avenues, but the path leads to Freak until...
Boom, boom, boom. Exactly what we wanted to see. You never want to be like, it's in competitive environments, you're never like, all right, go get your race, right? You're just like, hey, let's secure the round, like it's super close, it's map 3. But in that case, you got everybody alive.
Like
you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
second one of the series today,
Yeah,
and that's a certified Lanimal, we'll put it that way.
Lanimal's great.
Lanimal.
I'm taking that. I hope you don't mind.
No, I don't even know where I got it from either.
You just conjured it. It's great.
But that's a statement round. Again, after we mentioned how clean usually Baker is on those third rounds, like making it hurt.
Yep.
Far, far apart from the source material in the best way.
Bring the pain the one way, especially when you run out of toxic.
Never seen like the deeper the toxic screen to counter the one way like we're seeing from Baker.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, we're refighting this?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. All right, they're about to find it too. The curveball was good, but hello.
Soft flash.
Yep. And you need your weapon up for that one too. Aldrone just to secure, make sure that Nuthium is still in that same spot behind this corner, and a Shock Dart will push them back here. 57 HP, so NC State less than ideal in that handled scenario. Baker Swarm was right to be able to challenge into that one the way they did, after they already showed themselves A and said, hey, we're still going to go back at you. It was the right decision ultimately, and now they're entertaining the fact that it could be a rotation B, but it's all a fake. It's all a ruse at the end of the day. Not a Clove one. That's ISO. But we play into this one. Now, back to the same spot that we were before. Let's run it the third time. On to A. They will not let this go, but neither will Breeds here. Sees a contingency and just spamming through and getting one at the very minimum. And now Breeds says, I'm good with that. Let me call the rest of the cavalry here to try and play a retake, as the spike will be planted. Baker just had A in their vision, in their minds, and they're just going to kind of roll with it here as things develop further. Demon had a great look, but Brits denies as they take them out. Now Ladder, not going to be the late round heroics this time around. Silenced by Generic. Brits had the 3-piece, but they'll be down themselves. And Revenge is going to have to hold on to this round. It looked very promising here for Baker, but now it's a little bit different. One will fake the defuse. Freak is out. Secures the kill. NC State on top in this round. They'll be up 9-7 here as things develop further in this map number 3.
Huge round. That one, it feels like a spell's been broken because it's the back-to-back rifle. And the money is sour again, so it should be double digits up for Baker Swarm. Or sorry, for NC State over Baker Swarm. And
Tough. Rocking a hard place. Buys not
it's
great.
too early to take your
Not
second
great.
and final timeout, too, if you're Baker Swarm dumbbell.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Kind of because, like, if it develops, you start to get things going. You know, NC State, if you surrender up to 12, then you're like starting to get really close. You discuss it, but I don't know. I always tend to be the fan of an early timeout, giving yourselves some future considerations on your planning process.
Well, it didn't help Baker Swarm in the first half, unfortunately.
No, it did not. Yeah, that's valid.
Maybe why they didn't do it this time.
Here's one thing. Baker just loves his A site. They will, like, it is a toxic relationship.
I will say Baker's attack so far, obviously it's early. Having a bit more dimension though, again with Astral Lurk, the fake out, the double back into what is still unconsequentially going to be in a stack.
Jetty was, oh, he had the right idea for sure. But they swing around the far side of the far pyramid. And do get through. That is a quick snap on the second one too. Well played, Ladder, though. You lost track of where they might be. Jetty's good for 3 though. The upgrade, but while you were changing it, you caught the knives. As Freak swung around, perfect timing too. Hijinks though with the Sheriff still. Great job for them.
Patience, wait for the stars to come back.
Going. And they do. Generic will finish off the rest of Baker's Swarm and NC State to double digits.
Wow, that's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles. It's so unfortunate, right? The timing was gorgeous from ladder moves, but a Guardian in that position so hard to capitalize off of. And that's where, again, maybe you could have hoped the Asher was a bit closer, but that was your mid lurk doubling back to Cave. So, yeah, frustrating moment nonetheless, and you can see it.
Yep, dialed in. The faces speak wonders here. They really do speak for this team who's had really shining moments, and you get off to an early one-map lead, and you even in round 2, you had a lead for an extended period of time until you surrendered it. But yes, this is the right time for a timeout. Maybe mine was a little bit earlier, but now at this point in time with NC State, especially the way it developed,
it's a must-win rifle round, right? Like, you cannot lose this or you lose the game. And again, these groups can be cutthroat. So I will say a team that knows what it means to just fall below the line is NC State. Again, in that fall season, we're 5th seed and top 4 went to playoffs. So they do not want to be in that position. They want to take control early in this group stage.
And one step closer to being able to deny the revenge of the Revenge and Demon, who's been so excellent, but will it be enough? In a must-round situation, you're going to have to deal with the Freak Operator on top of everything else, and man, oh man,
that's him an ace already.
What you want. That's the trend, clearly. We'll see if that continues. as Freak had the look, but they did a good job to kind of hang on the right side of that wall to make sure they weren't peeking.
And me.
And they got the info they needed to. So here's Nami running it back here in this situation, but cannot catch a break when it comes to the kill contract and revenge, though. This Hunter's Fury did tag one, but yeah, that one's tough. You almost rely on that in that situation, and Freak is still making it happen as well. It seems like when it rains, it pours for the Baker Swarm right now.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. So you're gonna come crashing down. And Freak is here.
Good sign.
Freak is gone, unpunished.
Oh, come on, Revenge. Oh, no. That's not
One
your...
enemy remaining.
Was able to dodge it, but they did not calculate Nuthium being there, and that is unfortunate for them. Baker Swarm, the round they needed to have, and it all went wrong very early in that one, it felt like, and you just couldn't quite recover. And sometimes you get into your own head in those situations when you know that things should have went right, rather than being able to recover there too, and Nuthium with the rest at 3-piece, and NC State now have to be feeling really good about taking map 2, and in the driver's seat is an understatement here in map number 3.
Yeah, and again, that's the difference. I think Baker Swarm need to pick up on NC State Swarm patterns because their micro groupings are so clean, like you mentioned.
The pack.
Yeah, the pack mentality.
Yep.
Nuthium backing up Freak, and Nuthium even sacrificed himself into the kill contract so that Freak could survive, so that the site anchor as well, generic, and that Viper util, that delay could survive, and him winning out was just the cherry on top to an otherwise perfect half so far.
Feels like it, honestly. And for NC State, you're just relying on your ability, your intuition. It's all been spot on. Baker taking a lot of space here mid and want to be able to get initial picks. Aldrone detects one, but nothing further than that. They did a good job to deny it too, want to be able to take in through to get the defender spawn to be able to cut this map basically in half. But now, with the minute left, have to kind of show some urgency here at the end of the day, as Fritz will be patiently playing this one too. The Hunter's Fury to try and dissect it as well and try to gain one. Demon's got the Blade Storm, and that's certainly what they need. They want to be able to utilize those. You'll get your knives back on the run it back, plus be able to secure the kill on the other side of it as well. Nuthium wasn't able to land this one, so Baker Swarm in a better spot than they were prior to. They should have had the opportunity to be able to upgrade weapons as well. I think they got across to site. We'll see.
Oh, they're gonna start at backside. What is this?
Last player standing. One
Hot
enemy
Freak.
remaining.
Ready.
There's 20 seconds.
Awaiting. Need to make moves too. Plus the Shorty and Operator combination you're going up against here. They do have the spike, but once they hear the sound cue, they're in with the Shorty. I believe it. Until then,
10 seconds
You're
left.
just swinging at them.
we'll play a little ring around the rosy.
Thrifty.
And we find it. Hijinks does.
I'm big.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Listen.
we're closing the chapter? No. We just got
ready.
revitalized.
Cultivate a sense
Oh,
of
it's-
We just got renewed for another book in the trilogy.
gun here.
8-11 here. Still fighting for the comeback, but that is a crazy moment to have won. And I was all for the little swing in the backside from them. That's the risk we've been asking them to take on the Baker
Fair.
side.
Valid. Yeah. Yeah.
But the time was so nerve-wracking, and 30 HP as well. Knew he had to win that game. Ring around the rosy. That's what decides the series, I guess. Ring around the rosy. Pocket full of pistols? Thrifties?
Pistols? Thrifties. Pocket full of thrifties.
Thrifties.
Sounds good. I
There
like
we
that.
go.
That was real nice. Let's go. Print that one out. Minted in stone. And that's what NC State was looking to do until Baker had a bit of a bite back. Got some light to him. Frick, just line him up and mow him down, why don't you?
Light extinguished.
That's what it is. Legitimately. And now you are dire need of the next engagement being won. Freak has 30 HP, but it won't matter because they're holding this very nicely. Now you can challenge it. You literally told him where you might be playing within it, right around it. Did it matter? That's incredible. The way they were able to amp it up. Freak has been on a new one on its hair and still had it, but Hijinks able to at least cut it off by the throat.
All right, Freak ace factor versus Hijinks clutch factor. Who wins? It has some help, at least Nami. Makes it a 2v4 for Baker Swarm to keep NC State off a map series
30
points.
seconds left.
The Division 1 NECC National Finals Group A.
They are really clearly in a grand spot, feeling themselves, and it will be a difficult way to overtake it. Hijinks, you're able to silence and not allow the ace, but this is something else too. They're gonna try and find them. That just speaks wonders. They're trying a recon bolt to figure it out here this late. As the spike had been planted, looking to work around that toxin screen as well. Jenny gonna challenge it as it went down to you with the sound cue. Perfect time across, but Nami got a couple. Generic able to answer the calling though in the exact right time. And NC State will be on match point as it stands right now.
Layer upon layer, those numbers just too sheer, and round by round, NC State are building their foundation to solidify their place above Baker Swarm. Last time, statement that this wasn't a fluke starting to shine on through.
Yeah, this is like a tale of a team that really does not falter in this way, because Baker looked like the better team, honestly, when we talked about Haven, and I thought, at that point in time, they might have a chance and opportunity to be able to silence the whoop back here, but as they got warmer, okay, they were warmed up a little bit in map number 1, and they are now feeling it here in the group stage of the NECC Division 1 Nationals. Here live in San Antonio. They want to be able to get this first match all set and complete. This first pick is huge. You swing it. It's a 1-for-1 though. All things considered.
Yeah, you lost your dive though, and Hijinks has been re-cleared, forced out of A main. There's a Viper Spit on B. There's not many options, but this would be one for the Aegis to win as long as Freak doesn't, I'm gonna say, hold the space. I mean, now it's
that's
timings.
Tough. It is. Nami unfortunately drops yet another one. So 3v3 situation. The swing is going to be towards B. And now Baker, dire need to be able to expose the one on site here. Would be the play. The Viper's Pit coming up to secure it, but you peeked outside of it. Spike will be down. Generic catches another one as well. Man, oh man. Not the right time to do it. NC State now are good. The flank, Jetty, not ready for it. NC State will take this match after map 3 goes their way 13-8.
We didn't even need double digits to get it done this time around. The decider is certain. Yep. The team better off this time. And North Carolina State University, I mean, you saw the growth of them across the season, across even just the series alone. But I think it was honestly when it came down to the fundamentals, and NC were the ones that rose above in my mind. Made the difference every step of the way.
That's exactly right. And you need your difference makers to be difference makers. I will call it back out because it was a really good point that you brought up earlier. It's just you can't be relying on one player too heavily. I think, if you look back on this series, if you're Baker Swarm, you're like, what went wrong? It was like, hey,
Demon
it's Demon or nothing.
30? No.
Demon, yeah, exactly. What are you doing, man? Like, you got to be able to do more than that. So I think that's where it fell short. I mean, you really do need that full team effort at the end of the day, and their executions fell off a little bit. So I'm not sure if it's because it went to map 3, their focus was lost a little bit, and even the timeouts that were working a little bit earlier in the series, it just did not work out, pan out towards the end. NC State had answers for just about anything that Baker was throwing at them. Plain and simple. Yeah.
And we talked about it as well, just attack issues that I need to see Baker address before they move on to their next opponent as well in NECC Nationals Division 1, because, again, they got stagnant. You had to require a timeout, your coach to step in and give you those ideas to get out of the hole, and that's where you need that developed IGL voice to come through, that experience that we know that this roster has.
Yeah, there's so much, right, in this world, and especially in the world of esports as well, where it's like for any families that are here, like at the high school level, collegiate as well, that's what makes esports great, is the ability to be able to communicate, to be able to, have your players coordinate in a way and be able to work together in that sense too. It's all about teamwork at the end of the day, and for us, it certainly was NC State that got the job done, denying the revenge as well, which we talked about plenty of time for Baker. Maybe revenge was a little bit too sweet for their taste.
No, revenge was denied revenge.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes it be like that, man. Sometimes you just want to be there, not quite able to do so. For NC State, that's exactly where you want to be. For Baker, it's not the end of the weekend either, of course. This will develop over time. It's just a group stage. That's not going to be much easier in terms of who they do play up against, and that's what I'm nervous about them for sure as well.
Oh, yeah, this was supposed to be one of the easier matches to put behind you to get yourself kicked off correctly, but now maybe an upward fight.